The NFL is clearly watching our show as they waited to break all of the news for, yes, that's right, officially Short King Week, 5-5 to 5-9. We're landing on 5-7, Davis's favorite day. You can ask him why. Anyways, that's all I got here. No special fancy bells or whistles, but the NFL news we're going to run through is George Pickens traded to the Cowboys. Boom. Gabe Davis released by the Jaguars. Maybe actually good for Gabe Davis. Dallas Goedert agreed to reworked deal. Let's start with George Pickens to the Cowboys. I'll give my quick take on it. I mean, I think it's a fantastic trade for the Cowboys. We've seen wide receivers north of 30 go for third-round picks. We've seen Stephon Diggs go for a second. We've seen Keenan Allen go for a fourth. Amari Cooper got traded mid-season last year. He did get traded to a contending Super Bowl team, so probably paid some juice on that for a third. But George Pickens, he's 24. He just got traded to the Cowboys. Goodbye the folks who were trying to steam Jake Ferguson up to the 8th round. Jalen Tolbert, I don't want to play with you anymore. Kevontae Turpin, maybe he's going to become a who. Remember who? But I think it's fantastic for the Cowboys. Are the Steelers blowing it up? Is Aaron Rodgers still going there? Take it away, Davis.
I mean, this is what the Steelers do. The Steelers are 100% on sending wide receivers out at the appropriate time. Chase Claypool gets traded, immediately goes to 0. Antonio Brown leaves the organization, never plays it down for the Raiders, leaves the Patriots, gets suspended after playing one game with the Patriots, and then retires mid-game for the Buccaneers. Deontay Johnson leaves the Steelers organization, gets traded 3 times in one season, signs minimum contract with the Cleveland Browns. You can't really point out one spot that the Steelers have held on a wide receiver too long. You can point out, obviously, infinite spots where they have won. And the reason they did the mental calculus, they said, we'd rather pay DK Metcalf than George Pickens. Probably no organization is going to know more about Pickens than the Steelers. I think they get what they got. They traded a second-round pick to get Metcalf, so they lose about 40 spots of draft value trading pick. Emmanuel Sanders, Matt Parnes in the chat points out, Manny Sanders was, I wouldn't say Emmanuel Sanders had a great career. He had a fine career.
He had a good run with Denver. He had a good run with Buffalo.
He had a good run. Yeah. He had a good run. I wouldn't say a great run.
I mean, okay, I think AB's brain was deteriorating in front of everyone's eyes. I think anyone could have been like, let's get out from this guy. I don't think George Pickens is the same level of CTE or whatever you want to call it, where I think George Pickens, he's just a bit of a diva. I wouldn't really be shocked if the Steelers trade away, TJ Watt. Like, they are a team that is stuck in purgatory, where in the NFL, if you're not
Juju, how about Juju's post Steelers career, man? That's a good one.
Yeah, but in the NFL, if you're not elite, you'd rather be bad, right? You'd rather be bad because it's the quickest way to look no further than the Patriots. Patriots were garbage. They have Drake May. Now they have hope, right? They have hope. That's all it really takes. Get a high draft pick, get a quarterback. What you don't want to be is you do not want to be the Steelers, 9-8, 8-9, 10-7, losing by 30 in a playoff game, week in and week out. Yes, it fills seats, but as far as like the goal in the NFL, the only goal is to win the Super Bowl. You don't want to be what the Steelers are. I thought Pickens and Metcalf could have worked together. I'm kind of happy for my bags because I just kept on drafting Metcalf. I kept on drafting Pickens. Both should go up in the market. How you feeling about the fantasy takeaways of some of this stuff?
I mean, actually, I think the biggest impact for one guy is Dak. Dak goes from the quarterback 18. I now have him ranked as my quarterback 12. I've got him in that window. So I've got him in that Purdy, Goff window.
It's the same thing. It's all the same thing there, right? Like,
yeah, it's all the same thing. But previously he was 20 picks cheaper, and deservedly so, right? If your wide receiver 2 is Jalen Tolbert and your wide receiver 3 is Jonathan Mingo, then you ain't got no wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3. This is huge, and it's also an upgrade for CeeDee. It's also an upgrade for whoever your favorite
I don't think the
running back.
market's gonna think that way about CeeDee, where the point we kept on hearing parroted is who else is getting targets there? Where, like, I agree with you. I think this raises the boat, right? This raises the water.
CeeDee Lamb had a 29% target share playing with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. I don't think the presence.
No, that does not matter. That is not how the market reacts. The market is going to be like, this is slightly worse because there's someone else there, right? Like, the market was expecting CeeDee Lamb to get 80% target share. It doesn't matter what was reality. That's what people were saying. They're saying it's only CeeDee Lamb, right? And so, whatever. CeeDee Lamb might go at the 106, 107. He's versus being like a firm 105, 104.
So I guess my take actually just is what we're thinking through this. I didn't move Metcalf much. I don't think this is like and I guess he probably will. So it's interesting. Like, I don't think this makes him project all that much better because it does the opposite of what it does for CeeDee. It is, you have this slow, brutal, run heavy offense where they might have Aaron Rodgers, but they also very much might not. Like, every day that passes, it's more likely that it's Will Howard and Mason Rudolph.
It's not that. It just can't be that, right? Like,
it definitely. This team has gone into seasons with, in the post Roethlisberger era, they've had brutal stretches.
But there was hope being sold. Like Trubisky, there was hope there, right? He sat behind Allen. That's hope. Like, as an NFL team, you need to sell some hope to the fans. You can't sell hope with Mason Rudolph. So sure.
The 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers had 12 games of Pickett, 5 games of Trubisky. They threw for
Pickett,
as a team.
That was a first round. That's a lot of hope. Like, that is like Jackson
that was the season where Deontay Johnson generated 147 targets with 0 touchdowns. So I would just, me personally, I'm not flooding to say, you got to get Metcalf. And if I end up being wrong, whatever. I'll end up being wrong.
I mean, the way I view it is Metcalf is a guy who's gone in the second round of fantasy for like 5 years running. And we do this every year. Last year, the guy I called out was T. Higgins, where T. Higgins was firmly a second round pick for multiple years. For some reason, Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith still were. And T. Higgins were like, you know what? You're going to go in the 4th or 5th. The market does this because you can't have every wide receiver up there, or the Joe Mixons of the world, the Breece Halls of the world go in the 5th round, which feels wrong, right? So just some of these wide receivers this year, to me, Chris Olave, DK Metcalf.
I mean, do you care that Metcalf
Waddle
was bad last year? Does that factor in at all?
I mean, no. I don't think, could DK Metcalf go for 1,210 this year? Yes, to me.
Which I think, by the way, is the right way to view it. I think the Seattle offense was weird enough to not really care. But Metcalf was like legitimately bad last year. 1.81 yards per route run. That was his worst.
Maybe JSN was just good. Year. Maybe, they had a lot of weird injuries too. They were a team that's like Steelers of the NFC. Like, they're like good, not great. So I don't know. Like, do I think DK Metcalf should jump guys like Devonta Smith and co? Not really, but I think he can go from like back of the 5th, front of the 5th to like in that conversation at the 4 or 5 turn.
That's what's gonna. I mean, I moved. So I have Pickens at
Let me pull up. I'll
51.
pull up a board here to look at it.
Yeah,
Keep
I have
going.
Pickens at 51, and I have Metcalf at 55.
Yeah, and Pickens, I never really thought he should be dropping too much either. Let me pull up a best ball mania.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a board. Let me just present this so we can get some visualization on the screen here. Metcalf in this draft went pick 53, and Pickens went pick 74. So,
Yeah.
I mean, DK Metcalf or DJ Moore, that is a conversation where what do you prefer? Do you prefer the better offense, but maybe you're falling out of,
Well,
flavor there?
maybe your coach hates you.
Yeah. Or do you prefer probably a worse offense, but you could be 30% target share? And maybe you're competing with targets with Alan Lazard, who, I mean, look, Alan Lazard has dusted better folks, so who knows?
Love Alan Lazard. We already got the report this morning. Alan Lazard, Steelers are in conversations with Alan Lazard.
Okay, well that makes like Rodgers like a lock, right? Like,
I mean, let me make sure I didn't make that up. Or I didn't make it up. Someone posted it in Discord, but it's possible that was an old report. No, yeah. 1 hour ago, Rodgers' friend Alan Lazard in play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Where do you think the Pickens line should be? I mean, Pickens.
I moved him where Sutton and Ridley are on this board, 48, 49, 51.
Wow, so you have both Metcalf and Pickens, and that is where Pickens was in the big board.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, he was living like around here, and then for some reason he's just tumbled in best ball mania. We've seen this year in and year out where news we expect to come, but it hasn't come yet. So in this case, Rodgers, like players will slowly fall until that news actually is here. Obviously, this means, Pat Freiermuth. Okay, maybe you can take him a little bit over the Hunter Henrys of the world, etc. Your guess is as good as mine as far as like Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson, a third-round pick last year. Calvin Austin, he has a role in the NFL, kind of like a Trey Tucker. He's a deep threat. So I think both of these guys are okay guys to mix in. Roman, you would guess, could be the more.
I moved him way up. I moved him into like the 210s.
The other thing I think is like quite possible is that who's going to be signing Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen? The Steelers. So don't get over your skis on the Roman Wilsons and Calvin Austins of the world. They're fine to mix in, but there's still a lot of dominoes left to fall. On that note, the Cowboys GM, Jerry Jones, said that I think they were working several trades. And so people are guessing that maybe the other trade that could come down the pipe is Breece Hall to the Cowboys. You buying that?
Am I buying that? Probably not. No, I'm not buying it. Just it makes so little sense for the Jets.
Yeah, but I mean, I would also argue trading away George Pickens didn't make a ton of sense for like a third-round pick. I know they have a good history with it. It makes sense for the Jets if you think, hey, we really like Braylon Allen. We really like Isaiah Davis. And B, we want picks next year to go get the quarterback because we know Justin Fields is a stopgap. So it kind of makes sense. Like we're seeing several teams trying to stockpile picks for next year, which I think the Jets should probably be in the camp of. I
feel like that is like internet guy talk. It just feels like teams like never in practicality actually do that because everyone's jobs are so up in the air. Everyone's always so close to getting fired in the NFL.
How I'm going to be approaching it is, I already like Braylon Allen. I already like Breece, but I'd be making sure to get a little bit more Braylon because if Breece Hall is traded to the Cowboys, price of brick is going way up,
Right.
for many players, where really like these early drafts, you could be like, damn, Braylon Allen is a 5th round pick now,
Right.
so if you're out there, mixing Isaiah Davis, whatever, that's how I would be operating, whether you think it's far-fetched or not. Let's move on to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis got injured last year. I think the writing was a little bit on the wall. It is a little surprising that the Jags ate so much dead money. Gabe Davis, he's like a Mac Hollins. He's a capable blocking wide receiver. He does a role. I would have said the Patriots make sense if they didn't have literally Mac Hollins. I could see a reunion with Buffalo. That makes sense. Blocking wide receiver on the Lions. That makes sense. Don't know if Gabe Davis is I think this is actually good for your Gabe Davis shares if you have a lot from the big board or whatever, as far as potential to land with a better team, right? He could land with the Chiefs, whatever. He could be Michael Wilson's replacement. Like, all these things are possible. How you viewing Gabe Davis cut from the Jags?
I mean, I guess it's probably like slightly bullish if you have like De'Ami Brown bags, or if you were taking
Parker
if you were taking
Washington?
well, I was gonna say if you took Parker Washington in the big board, maybe he's like live now. And then I guess I don't know, where could Gabe Davis land that I would think he was draftable. The thing about Gabe Davis is he has no juice.
I mean, if he lands with Buffalo, like this is why, like, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis, like, some of these guys are not making the team, right? Like,
Man, if he, let me tell you this, man, if Gabe Davis gets re-signed by Buffalo, Keon Coleman is the deadest dude. They have like already determined Keon Coleman is a 0.
I wouldn't view it that way. I would view it like it would be, signing Gabe Davis for vet minimum just seems like a sharp business move where you have faith in Keon. You want Keon to be the guy. Keon was pretty good before injury, very similar stats to Xavier Worthy. He just got hurt, never got back on the wagon. And maybe he won't work out, right? Like, he has some holes in his profile, but I would view it as like, okay, we lost Mac Hollins. We know that this guy does, and Buffalo wants to run the ball anyways. We know this guy can do a role in our team. We prefer it to be Keon, but hey, if it's not Keon, we're a Super Bowl team. We just lost a guy we liked. We got him back for like vet minimum. So I don't know. I wouldn't like kill Keon.
I forgot they took Caden Prather too. Insane,
in like
dude.
6th round or something.
Yeah, they just have. I mean, and they also took the 2 tight ends. They took Jackson Hawes and
he's a blocking tight end.
Latu. I don't know.
No, one of the guys is O lineman, the guy from Connecticut.
No, Kaliki Latu is like a blocking tight end. 6'6".
Yeah, Hawes is a definite blocking tight end. I don't know. You got people like Stevie Johnson picking up the Kincaid steam and being like, we got to get this guy 80 targets.
Do you see the report that he also has a double knee injury?
Well, what I was going to get to is you also have like Bills injury reporters who are like clickbaiting Kincaid because he looks very skinny right now. So I don't know. Like, I think Kincaid, he still has braces on both knees. So maybe he is hurt, but he's so cheap that like I'm going to be doing that. And I never really thought Jake Ferguson should flip him anyways. But they're similar bets, right? You're betting on good offenses, guys who could be good target shares. So I don't know. Gabe Davis, we'll see. Maybe he doesn't have anything left. Maybe no team signs him, right? But good for him for getting $30 million last year. You had to guess today who's signing.
Yeah, shout out to Trent Baalke, man. Genius.
Yeah. Who you have to guess today? Who's Gabe Davis being signed by?
Bills. I mean, I feel like it's just like a lock.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a contender, right? It's who are these other wide receiver dead?
Maybe I'm looking Commanders, maybe 49ers, like just like a younger version of DeMarcus. You cut DeMarcus Robinson and you just say, Gabe Davis, you're DeMarcus Robinson now.
I could see the Chiefs doing it too if like they want to be this blocking team.
If Royals just like gets to real camp Like they're having rookie mini camp right now, but if they get to real camp and Royals, it's just dust. Yeah, I can
Atlanta.
see it.
I mean, Atlanta is like
Atlanta needs a guy because they have Ray McLeod and someone actually worse than Ray McLeod. Oh, come on, Davis. You know this.
the Ravens make sense to me too, as far as
The Ravens. He's the thing. He's too young.
but they have Hopkins.
Maybe on his next contract. Kadarrell Hodge. Thank you, Kadarrell Hodge. There we go.
Yeah, and then some of these teams with like younger wide receiver rooms, I could see him being signed as like a mentor. The Giants, like we know the Dable connection there, so I don't know. My guess is that a contender signs him, and he's like Nick Westbrook-Akine. He is Mike Williams.
Yeah, he's Nick Westbrook-Akine now.
Yeah, you are just hoping that gone are the days of Gabe Davis in the 4th round. You are just hoping to get a couple touchdowns. Hopefully he blocks his ass off, etc. The Bears, the Bears signaling the end of DJ Moore or something.
They do have Alameda Zacchaeus.
Yeah. Dallas Goedert reworked his deal. Dallas Goedert is quite interesting because he opened best ball with this group of tight ends, so going in the 100s to 120s.
And basically nothing changed, and he just kept drifting.
Yeah, but not on DraftKings, right? On DraftKings, he still is in this group, but on Underdog, they're just like, no, Dallas Goedert must be right next to Brenton Strange. He must be right next to Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry. So I don't know, like Dallas Goedert, he's been disappointing as far as like what he's actually done on the field. He's still like, you get an AJ Brown.
He had one mega spike last year.
Yeah, and you get an injury to AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, and you have a quasi league winner probably at tight end. So I don't know. I think I wouldn't say it's good for Dallas Goedert being back with Philly, but it's not bad. Plus I think it could have been really good if he got traded to a team that wanted to pass more and feature him a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I also don't view it as bad.
Yeah. So, all right, that's about it for the big news takeaways. Anything else you want to say news-wise, Davis?
I don't think there's anything else that we've missed.
I just think it's a reminder. Like I'm working on my depth chart article, and this is why I'm like just waiting a little bit, because there's still a couple of things left to fall, right? J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. These are dominoes that could have varying effects. I would power rank the Steelers as pretty high for Keenan/Amari Cooper. Unless they totally want to.
That's not really bringing in the old guy is not really the Steelers' move. Generally, they're.
But some of these should they even
Allen
be on
Robinson,
the market,
I guess.
Should they even be on the market? Allen Robinson, dude, Van Jefferson.
Robert Woods is already on the team. So, what do you even need Keenan Allen for?
Maybe you just cut Woods and you say, hey, we got a better Robert Woods.
True. Yeah, you could just do that. Yeah.
So I don't know. So just a reminder that Tyreek Hill still could be traded. Breece Hall, still could be traded. Yeah. I would say James Cook, definitely not, just because the Bills are Super Bowl contenders, unlike the Dolphins and Jets. But strap up, folks. We're just getting started.
What if they think Ray Davis is really good and they just don't want to pay him?
I think it's weird that the Bills didn't use one of their 10 draft picks on.
Very weird they didn't take a running back. I agree.
But it's like a huge vote for Cook. So all right, we're gonna do one
or a huge vote for Ray Davis.
We got the 101. I'm running hot on 101s, man. Let's see. 25%.
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers drafted any wide receivers, right?
Or 20% Jamar Chase.
That is pretty good.
That feels nice, man.
The Steelers signed a guy named Rock Taylor from Memphis as an undrafted free agent. That was their one rookie wide receiver acquisition.
So I think today's the day we're going to see the biggest overreact. Metcalf going at the 3-4 turn. We're going to see stuff like that today. Freiermuth going in round 10. I could see
100%.
someone convincing themselves what's the difference between Pat Freiermuth and Jake Ferguson. I don't know.
I don't think this is that good for Pat Fryer. Again, I'll say this. I'm just not that into the Pittsburgh Steelers passing game.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Like, I'm a top-down guy. If Rodgers is there, I'm like relatively into it. And nearly every offense has guys who provide value, like, who are going to score points. Like, even New England, who was awful last year, Hunter Henry, Pop Douglas, like, these guys had some value, like not good value, right? The Giants, god-awful team, there was quite a bit of value there. I don't think Pat Freiermuth is any good. Like, I can't get the image out of my head of him having no yards after catch, like just catching the ball and being rocketed down time and time again towards the end of the season. But I could see Rodgers forcing a bunch of balls his way, right? Why not?
I mean, that's what you think, brother. Not when Alan Lazard shows up.
My God,
what's Mercedes Lewis up to?
Alan Lazard. The Jets, too. The Jets are a team that could sign Cooper or Keenan, right?
Yes. Yeah, certainly they are. Yeah.
I mean, we're not drafting a second wide receiver there.
I would take 18th round Amari or Keenan in field stuff. I would not take them any earlier than that. But
no, I'm saying right now, no one is drafting a second wide receiver.
Yeah. Sure.
And, like, we all like Mason Taylor. The dude could have like 2 targets a game for his first like 2 months of the season,
Oh, I mean, yes, 1,000,000,000%. I mean, Mason Taylor could, like, functionally, Mason Taylor could be no different than a Rondé Gadsden, 5th round pick for the Chargers, like getting like 7 routes a game, costs like a $400 guy in showdown. Like, we like Mason Taylor, but Mason Taylor, you remember Tip Ryman was a 2nd round pick to the Cardinals last year?
You could be like, why don't I have Tyler Conklin? Tyler Conklin could have some miracle season with the Chargers.
I took him in a draft yesterday.
I've drafted Calvin Austin on an Eliminator. So if you face that Calvin Austin team, guys, I drafted him like a month ago before the trade. I was just like, I don't want to draft another wide receiver. The same ones I keep on drafting.
Yeah. Million, trillion percent. What do you like to do at the 2-3 turn when you've got Chase?
I like this.
What's your preferred?
I do a lot of different things. Sometimes I want to just build like 6 straight wide receivers and just try to lean on that 6. Sometimes I double tap the running backs. Trey McBride is always fun. I think pulling up an elite quarterback is totally acceptable. I've been in the Eliminator streets, and like that's just kind of where Josh Allen goes in the Eliminator. Eliminator market is like the opposite of Best Ball Mania, which is pretty fascinating. Where
you gotta have week 1 brain.
Yeah, all the the Swifts, the Pollards of the world, all the running backs go much higher. So I don't know. What I don't want to do at the 2-3 turn is draft like Tyreek Hill and JSN every single time with Chase, right? Like that seems really, really bad having ununique combos. So I'm open to a lot of things at the 2-3 turn. Pulling up a Rice, I would like to, like, Cook is a guy who I would pull up because I think Cook could be a league winner, but he's kind of a bad candidate to do it just because he will naturally fall to the 4-5 turn at times. So it's like, don't pull up guys who are going to just
he's there more often than not.
I think I would say he goes like mid 4th usually.
I have 6% of him, and I have him ranked as a 4-5 turn guy.
Well, that's a bad ranking, but I mean that's pretty nice. Like Cook at the 4-5 turn is a slam dunk, right? Pull up Breece. The thing about Breece is like I don't prefer him to Cook. I recognize that if he lands with the right team, Breece could be a much better pick, but I think like baseline level, I'd prefer the wide variance of Cook on one of the best teams in football. And I don't know, like Breece is going to go one of two ways. He's going back to the second or first round next year, or hello, 10th round Breece.
Yeah. I'm in about 900 rookie drafts right now, and someone's trying to make a trade with me.
Don't stress.
I like doing Chase Brown and Jamar Chase together. I mean, it's like
totally fine.
You are paying a big tax here, but
let's see what Baird. I like Bucky. Let's pencil in Bucky, and then you want to do Rice as well.
Yeah, why do you have Rice ranked 40th?
I'm going to update the rankings. When I had this last week, his ADP, I was actually ahead of market. And what I think is going to happen is that Rice is going to end up. I mean, dude, you were fighting me last week on me having Rice over Worthy. And now you're like, why do you have him 40th? What I think is going to naturally happen is that Rice is going to end up being a 2-3 turn once, we're already kind of seeing that. And so if that's the case, really, we're trying to get him towards this end of the board to have a unique combo, right? It's not just like this is, you don't want to take a guy all the time where he's just going to naturally end up.
There was another good report on Rice's health, but I had Rice ahead of ADP before, but we got another good update on his knee. And Drew Davenport, he posted another thread yesterday about how not only does Rice not have a criminal case scheduled yet, it's a civil case, but that the civil case is more likely to be pushed back than to take place as scheduled. So we are looking at full health Rashee Rice and probably no suspension in the 2025 NFL season.
Well, what we hope is full health. Like we're seeing him run routes, but that's not always. There's still some uncertainty. Like Dak as well. Got hurt last year. I feel better about Dak because they did the trade. Rice though, like I don't know. Is he just going to be a mid-second round pick? I guess. And let me tell you, if you want Xavier Worthy Davis, you should be drafting Eliminators because he falls to the 5th round there. People are not interested in Worthy in the Eliminator contest, which I
feels like the funny thing about Worthy is I actually expect him to be like a pretty safe floor guy because of the way they used him at the end of the year. I mean, his ADOT went way down.
I mean, well, I don't know, dude. I think Worthy's going to end up being a good football player. If he hits his ceiling, he's Tyreek. But you could look back and be like, yeah, it makes sense. Worthy was getting all those targets. Hollywood was not healthy. Kelsey should have retired. Rice was not on the field, right? Like, who was on the field? Justin Watson and Juju? Like,
I mean, he was really good in the playoffs when Hollywood was there and had a spike week in corresponding Kelsey spike weeks, right? In the AFC Conference Championship game or the wild card game. No, the divisional round and in week 17.
I mean, I like Worthy plenty. I mix them in as well, but I get why the Eliminator dings them because they're the way what the market's saying is we view this guy as a downfield threat, which is not really fully true, but
it's just
we actually saw Worthy be a gadget guy.
People, I don't know. Everyone is so bad at fantasy football, but they're going to end up winning anyways. But
I don't think Rice needs this pity targets. He was just like, what I've said a long time, Rice is a 1st round pick if he doesn't get hurt last year.
Yeah, he was averaging 21.5 points per game in the 3 games he played. Pretty good.
I think we push Burrow. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
probably not going to get him with T, but Let's see who's
Well,
there.
it's a little bit harder when this guy at the 12 hole did the quarterback
Yeah.
double tap.
Well, mainly because he could be a triple tap guy.
Yeah.
I like these two guys though.
Let's take Kittle.
Let's go J-Mo and Flowers.
I mean, I have Flowers ranked after this, but I don't really care.
Well, Flowers plays in division with Chase, could fall into a week 17 stack. And I like a lot of these guys, but it does feel like a bit of a tier break there. Anytime you take Kittle, who I like, obviously, it just puts you in a little bit of a strain at wide receiver because it's like, I don't know, give me two of Njoku and Kraft, Kincaid and Likely, Jonnu and Loveland, and I feel pretty good about my tight end room. Might not perform well, but I feel good about it.
Wide receivers don't score any points anyway.
Well, in Flowers, like, you could see him. What if he just catches 8 touchdowns? Then he is like a third round type pick, you know?
Yeah, the season where Zay Flowers runs into positive touchdown variance is going to be insane. Or any season where the Ravens are forced to play like a lot of competitive games. Like I remember a couple times last year.
That was last year though. Like with their bad defense in the Bengals shootouts.
The secondary got a lot better though in the back half of the season.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like Andrews, I think still could be traded. Like that's still in the, like, they're still fielding questions about that for whatever reason. You could see infinite things happening, right? Like one, Lamar is probably not going to throw for 41 touchdowns, right? 2,
yeah, he does that every other year.
I don't know if Bateman is going to catch 9 touchdowns on 45 catches, right?
Right.
3, I don't know if Henry's staying healthy, and I don't know if he's scoring 18 touchdowns, right? So there's a lot to fall there, but we do know that if someone just told you, hey, Zay Flowers is scoring 7 touchdowns, at least you'd be like, wow, okay, cool. That's like 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Maybe that's better than Garrett Wilson this year, right? Like maybe that's a 2-3 turn guy.
I think the concern that I would have, like specifically for Flowers, is the way the Ravens have ran their red zone offense with both coordinators, right? This is true with Monken, and this is true with Greg Roman. The wide receivers have been de-emphasized in the red zone, and the tight ends, Ricard, the running backs, have been emphasized because it kind of works best with Lamar's skill set, right? You do those big, heavy packages, you put him on the move, right? You get him rolling out to his right, and you let him make decisions, and that just works better with. I think it's one of the things that really helped Bateman, and is not as strong for Flowers, which is not to say that Flowers can't just randomly have a touchdown spike season. Of course he can.
Yeah, I think the way Flowers gets 8 touchdowns is like, 1, a couple of them are long. 2, a couple of them are like gadgety, like screens. Like where like.
Well, he could just have Terry McLaurin's season from last year.
That's what. Yeah, we know he's the best player for their wide receiver. Like say Flowers on the Bengals without Chase or something, like that's probably a first round pick.
Yeah, Flowers, that I've got absolutely no argument for. Flowers is like if Flowers were playing with and if he was a Cowboy, right? I mean, he would be awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, should we really be taking 2 Eagles wide receivers over 1 Ravens wide receiver? Right? Like they're similar. Hurts and Lamar are similar, but I think Lamar is a better passer.
Well, the Eagles offense is about 100x more concentrated. They throw the ball to 2 guys. The Ravens, you're gonna be loading up a Ravens showdown slate, and you're gonna be like, I don't know, man. They had 7 wide receivers who ran routes in the last game. All right, what do you want to do?
We don't get Burrow.
There we go. We don't get
Not
Burrow.
surprising. I'd be okay pulling up Mahomes to go with Rice, which is a pretty big, nice consolation prize. I'd also be okay. I'm going to dink Caleb Johnson. I just don't believe he's up here. You want to go? How you feel?
I mean, my rankings. Well, actually, my rankings would be Judkins, Myers, I think, but I don't really care.
Let's do Mahomes. I don't know if I've taken him yet. And then, do you want another wide receiver or another running back? I think that's the question.
I think with taking a quarterback there, we should take a wide receiver.
Okay, let's go Reed or Shaquille. I think Reed, hoping to get the Green Bay Lions nut matchup.
I do think Mahomes there is terrible. Taking Mahomes before ADP, just like his ceiling, or I guess his median projection is just not great.
I mean, you're really just hoping that we know Mahomes can throw for 40 touchdowns. You just need that to happen, obviously.
Been a long time. Been a long time, Pat.
I'm not
fine.
Someone who's going to go all. I've been a Mahomes fader pretty much every year in fantasy because it's been insane that he goes ahead of Josh Allen and co. or with them. But Mahomes and Burrow, I love Burrow. They're both getting it done by passing, right? So it's like Chiefs defense is a little bit worse. We've made the bet on the Chiefs. You got to draft like you're right. Obviously, we've seen what the Chiefs have been. I still think Mahomes could be QB3 in fantasy. That can happen.
I think there's a pretty good argument that Rashi and Mahomes' ceilings are negatively correlated. That a really good Rashi season is similar to the offense they were running last year. Very slow, possession oriented. Obviously his big games came with Worthy not established in the offense. Worthy speeds games up, whereas Rashi's would kind of, they'd be these disgusting 11 play Kareem Hunt filled drives because Rashi is not going to get it done on explosive plays.
This is no offense, but this is just the most overthinking it. Oh, you actually want Mahomes only with Worthy, but not with look, man, we're just betting that the Chiefs throw a lot of touchdowns, right? And if Rice has a bad game, but Mahomes gives us 30 points in the lineup, we're happy for this team. I understand what you're saying a little bit, but I don't know. We're not going to get Mahomes at 96 a lot. And
you're certainly, when you have Rice, where's Worthy at? So the Worthy drafter would have taken him at 82 or 87.
And I think this is, once Rice settles in here, Mahomes is going to settle here, actually.
I wonder if he goes the other way. I wonder if he settles, because there's no upward pressure. No rankings outlet is going to increase Mahomes's ranking. So the only upward pressure would, I guess it would, but because then the 1 hole and the 2 hole are so likely to take Burrow because of Higgins and of Chase. I don't know. I would guess Mahomes' ADP continues to drift back.
I'll be below 8% of Mahomes probably, just because in a median sense, I don't see a big difference. But I'm very willing to pull up the quarterback when I've taken a Rice, I've taken a Worthy. I'm not taking Rice at the 2-3 turn and pretending he's a bad pick, right? I'm pretending he is the best pick on the board. And if that's true, he's scoring touchdowns and Mahomes is throwing it. So I don't know. I personally think what's happening to you a little bit is you just went all in on the Chiefs last year and plus multiple years. And now you are trying to do the opposite. Right. And
I just have them all at market. I think I have Mahomes at 88.
Okay, but we're not gonna get him in a streamed room. So it's could we have just gone Goff and Love? Sure, but so does everyone.
Goff probably outscores Mahomes, especially in the money weeks, right? Goff gets the games indoors. I mean, more than likely. Mahomes will be playing outside in the cold. You know, they probably get a week set. What's the division the Chiefs play this
If
year?
you're
Is the
asking me
AFC?
quarterbacks that can throw for 50 touchdowns in a year, I'd probably, and like I have to power rank them. I'd probably put Burrow first because of their pass rate over expectation and bad defense. And I'd probably
Yeah.
put Mahomes second
Mm,
because he's done it.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'd
And
put him second. I'd have to think
I
more
don't think
about it.
this current meta of the NFL we're going to see that too many times. But no, I think Mahomes is a perfectly fine pull up, unique combo type of guy.
Yeah, we're just in a brutal spot now though because all the good players are gone and we have 2 stacks lined up. So the 2v2 is going to look better the other way. Caleb Johnson at 89.
It's not. I think that's where he should be falling. Like
I am very anti that.
I'm gonna put him amongst the group of Aaron Jones and co. I mean, Cup is a big tier break, so let's do Cup. I'm never taking Kelsey. I would do it. I would also take one of Warren.
Yeah. I mean Cup is fine. Like we're I guess. I don't know. This is a tier break at running back too. After Warren and Tracy go, then we get to, and not that I actually have both of these guys ranked after
And
ADP.
let's just go Kelsey, man. Whatever. Let's just bet on the lucky touchdown season.
We could just take. I was gonna say we could just take Fields and just be done.
Well, I think we at the next turn we're gonna have Love. We're gonna have Goff occasionally. We're gonna have.
You always have to see if the St. Brown drafter has a quarterback, which I think they do in this one. No, they don't. Yeah, so we're not going to get Goff, which is whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, this guy Goff randomly falls sometimes.
He's not going to fall past the St. Brown drafter twice when they don't have a quarterback.
I don't know. For my portfolio, I'm not taking Kelsey yet. I don't think I've taken Mahomes yet, so I want to get some of that for my teams. And I might as well make that team with Davis, Might as well. Davis, the year he jumps off the Chiefs, I win Best Ball Mania with my friend Davis, cut him a check for $1 million, and then he can laugh about it. I'm
not off them. I've got because I have Worthy and Rice ranked ahead of ADP just based off of, I mean, honestly, the Mike Clay projections are giga bullish because the funny thing about the Chiefs is they've been this super annoying. They play 3 tight ends, they play 6 wide receivers, they play 3 running backs, and then they totally went against that last year because they just didn't have the horses. And I actually think that'll be one of the things that carries over because I particularly letting Justin Watson go. I actually thought that was pretty sneaky. Justin Watson in the last 2 years has played the 3rd most offensive snaps for the Chiefs, and he's totally gone now.
And Hollywood could be just good again, I
have Hollywood ahead of ADP. The only one I have Mahomes and Kelsey after ADP.
I mean, I have Mahomes pretty far after ADP, but that's to communicate that no, folks.
Actually, I lied. I have Kelsey. I have Kelsey right at, and I'm Mahomes 10 spots after ADP.
I mean, I rank Kelsey as ADP, but I personally won't be drafting a ton of him because I don't like his odds as a 50-year-old man to punish me.
Right.
But, on this team, we're hoping to capture most of the passing touchdowns, and we're having Mahomes throw for around 40 of them. It does seem like the Chiefs are trying to they didn't like how things went obviously against the Eagles. I think they're trying to fix something there.
Yeah, but I just don't think they can. I think they're I just actually don't think they're capable. If they were capable, they've had 36 regular season games and 7 postseason games. No. Yeah, seven postseason games to fix it, and they have not done it once.
See, a Monreal drafter did pass for Warren.
Wow. Well, that's
And
one of those things. That's one of those things where you're staring at the huge ADP value.
I would
You know
say,
what I'm saying?
in his shoes, I would probably have done the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
And then Laporta drafted. So someone's gonna have to want to go naked Goff, or we will get him.
That's sick. Yeah.
Which is why I think like Fields. I don't think he makes a lot of sense here. Fields is a guy I'll get quite a lot in the Eliminator because it doesn't even matter if he falls out of favor week 14. You know, like he's done his job if I make it to week 14.
Right. Mahomes, this is, dude, you want to get depressed?
I'm not
how many
depressed about Mahomes stats ever.
Yeah. Let's click the Goff went to the Allen.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, this donkey. Hey brother, make sure you subscribe. We want you in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Love randomly went too. For no reason to this guy.
So
okay, well, running back, I think Najee and Ramondre kind of makes sense. I like 2 and 2. He's an upside swing, but like early season production.
I think we should do Ramondre on this team.
Okay, yeah. Let's do 2 guys I don't really like, Najee and Ramondre.
Ugh.
I know. But we're just trying to get some points.
That is terrible. That is just like waving the white flag. Najee, and it's like, dude, we got a ceiling game from our running back twos. We got 16 points.
Well, here's what I'll say. We're going to go thin at wide. Like, honestly, we could stop at 6. We're going to go 7, though, wide receivers. Yeah. We're going to be taking a lot of guys in the, Kendre Miller, Marshawn Lloyd type of vibe where we're not really counting on them on week 1 production. We just need, if Najee and Ramondre are alternating us, giving us like 10 points a week and just filling an RB2, and we can hit some guys that come on late in the season, like you need to eat your vegetables sometimes here. And I don't know, like I like Tootin. I don't like ETN. I could see Tank being the guy. There's a lot to wade through for Jacksonville.
Yeah. So the thing, this is gonna sound counterintuitive to the people watching or listening, but when you are in a spot like this where Bucky is your running back 1 and you have no running back 2, your mental thought is, oh man, I just need a guy who's going to get me 11 points sometimes. But when you were actually super fragile at the position, and maybe you guys will say that I'm wrong, my thought is actually the exact opposite, that you actually, to make up for the fragility, you need to introduce more volatility and more variance. You need to bring higher ranges of outcomes into it to make up for the fragility. So I would have taken Tootin with one of those picks there.
I think it's really close. Like Tootin versus, first off, Najee's ADP is 108. I think that ADP is a little bit fake, but I do think he's probably going to settle in, like Najee and Jalen, so him being available at 120 is not something I think will be commonly there. Where I don't want to, I don't like Najee at all. People know that, but I don't want to pass on him. An injury to Hampton, and you've got the RB1 of the Chargers, right, at a cheap price. Ramondre could play way more than anyone wants. Like Henderson could be, Henderson's first carry goes for a fumble. See you next month, brother. This is how rookies can go, especially on a Mike Vrabel team. And I understand Tootin is the biggest upside swing, but we can make some big upside swings still on the board, right? There's guys like Jadon Blue. There's guys like, there's upside I still think we can make, but I don't think anyone really else existed as far as like these guys can help us get to the playoffs. I don't know. Yeah. And also I'm just not going to draft many teams with Najee and Ramondre. So I want some at a value.
I think it's fine to take the randomly falling Najee. Like I don't think it's terrible, but
Well, the guy you said, though, is we got to get Ramondre on this team. Like, you didn't say we got to get Najee. So that's why I was like, okay, Ramondre's your pick. Najee's mine.
Ramondre, I actually kind of like at the price that he is, because now he is just priced like a handcuff, like a pretty obvious handcuff, and he's got like a little bit of standalone upside.
I thought what you were going to say is we got to get Tootin. And so I was going to make Tootin your pick and Najee my pick. But you said we got to get Ramondre.
Yeah. I had a reason for that, and now I think I forgot it. There was a specific structural reason, and now I forgot it.
I think we could be quite happy to have Najee and Ramondre. Like, I'm not going to be getting them a lot, but they go right ahead of the other RB2s. All of these Dallas shares could go to 0 real quick. Definitely going to do Tank. I like Ray Davis as well. Means we're passing on quarterback for now, but that's fine to me. Do you like Benson or White better? You happy with these guys?
Ray Davis is the one that I really like. I have Bigsby ranked way after this, but I don't really care.
I don't. I mean, I think that shows an overconfidence of how things will shake out in Jacksonville. Like, ETN could be shipped out. We could see. I mean, what if Tank Bigsby is just the David Montgomery of Jacksonville, right? Like, I see Tank and Ray as pretty similar things. Most likely the RB2. He was an efficient running back, which we do know that like efficiency doesn't always matter. But I mean, the
efficiency like has like no correlation to future touches.
Yes, but I mean, the dude had 800 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. So like, what if he takes yet another step?
And they liked him so much that they drafted 2 running backs.
Well, 2 in okay, and then what round was the other guy?
LaQuint Allen. He was the best pass catch, best led all running backs in all of college football in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and was the best or second best pass blocking running back in the class.
I see it as us just betting on like good teams, and the dream for Tank is he's kind of like their Bucky Irving. Like, he's not going to catch passes, but like change of pace runner. ETN could be a total 0. Like the dude averaged like 8 points per game last year. That is awful.
ETN?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he was unspeakably bad. Like this is my experience with the NFL, is that basically being a first round pick earns you, like, to the point that the Cowboys traded for Kaiir Elam. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a first round pick, just it's unbelievable how much leeway that gets you.
Well, and I think Tank, when you do pass on Tootin, we've made a bet against Tootin. How do you do that? Tank. I think if you're into Tootin and you're trying to 0% tank, that's not recommended. I would want to be, maybe he'll fall a little bit more. Trey Benson, similar thing. White, similar thing. I mean, Benson was not good last year. This is just like James Conner's old, Tank at least was good.
Yeah. After being the worst running back in the NFL the year before.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys, like, who else fits that bill who could rebound? This is probably the worst structure I could think of having, the 3-3-3-3 through 12 rounds.
It's just really, it's beautiful stuff.
Who else was terrible last year and maybe could be this year's Tank? Who do you think I'll say?
Benson, right? He's the most obvious
Blake
one.
Corum, dude. What if it's Blake Corum? Because you know who the Jaguars drafted in the 6th round last year?
Who?
Kylan Robinson, who went in the 6th round this year to the Rams. Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah. Kylan Robinson he barely even played with the running backs. He's like a core 4 special teamer.
Yeah, and that could be Hunter. Like, people are getting hyped about Hunter.
I don't think Hunter played any special teams in college.
I'm just saying Hunter could not play.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I take Corum there's been some really interesting.
He's an 18th round pick now.
It's just been really interesting to hear the Les Snead and McVay talk about running back in a different way. Now it's all well and good to talk about it, and then you get to the season and McVay needs his binky in there. I mean, the dude loves Kyren Williams, but I think it's just, Kyren Williams is just objectively like a pretty average running back.
This is somewhat of a good point, trying to say that if Tootin is a hit, maybe it comes at the expense of ETN. And like Tank's role, I think, is somewhat safe in the short yardage role.
Yeah.
And what if Tootin sucks, man? Like, not everyone can be H-Am.
I mean, you would, if you got to bet it at -110, you would bet that Tootin would suck.
Yeah, we know that if Tootin is a hit, though, he's a 3rd round pick next year. Like that's why we like Tootin.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's tough to go deep. Darnold is the stack. He's just
not
as far as like
week 17.
Yeah, but we have Cup, so we got to do it.
I think Richardson is actually better here.
Dude, no, I can't. After I saw that pass, I can't do it. Well, do you want to go 2 quarterbacks or 3? Because if you want to go 3, we could do Geno as well.
Definitely. When you take Mahomes, you got to just do 2.
Okay.
My rule of thumb is if I take a quarterback, do
we want to do the Zach Ertz repeat?
Let's see. We have Travis Kelce. Let's take Mason Taylor. Do you want to take the 2 oldest tight ends in the NFL?
Yeah, man. Correlate your olds. Yeah. I'd also be okay with Eckler.
I like Eckler. I think this team, it's just more guaranteed touches.
Which one?
Let's do Eckler.
Okay.
I was a big Ertz guy last year.
Honestly, this allows us to stop at 6 running backs, I think.
Yeah. By the way, the Mahomes stat was he has since the calendar flipped to 2023, he has 1 game with more than 3 passing touchdowns.
Well, beautiful thing about the NFL is, Lamar for like 2 years running was a veteran best ball quarterback.
Yeah,
like, he would have big weeks. Like I remember pulling the stat and it was like he had a terrible floor, like these 2 years. And then you know what happened last year? 434 points. So it's like we know Mahomes is good. And if you were to power rank what's going to happen, you would probably guess that the Bills, the Ravens, one of these 2 teams are going to be in the pole position for the bye. And that might make the Chiefs have to kick it into gear a little bit.
Yeah, best thing that could happen if you are a Mahomes drafter would be the defense is just like bad. Like not like just straight up bad.
And their division is getting all of a sudden very competitive.
The Raiders not being like awful is big.
Even if the Raiders are bad, they're going to be the league leaders in plays run, which is going to push plays run.
I recently found out that people actually don't know that actually the audience of people who play best ball and fantasy football now is so young. They do not remember Chip Kelly. They just think of Chip Kelly as like any guy, like just, this guy who got promoted from, like they literally do not know who he is.
I would say what's happening is people don't realize people who play best ball primarily are just thinking of names. They're not thinking of who's going to run the most plays. Like that's not even a data point to them.
Yeah.
OC, who cares? It's just like,
who cares? Right. Yeah. Who cares?
It's just like, oh, I like Adam Thielen. Oh, I like Rashad Bateman. Oh, I like Tony Pollard. Like that is the data point for most folks.
I can actually I can look this up in the Mike Clay projections. Let's see.
Yeah, who's he got as the top 5 teams in plays run? I'm gonna guess Commanders, Raiders.
He might not have it all in one
Probably
spot.
Some surprise team like the Saints or some shit.
Strength of schedule.
Cowboys might, just because they might be so pass heavy.
Right.
And then you could have like one of these like quasi bad teams, like the Bryce Youngs of the world, pumping out plays.
It's hard to run a ton of plays when you're terrible because you just don't have the ball that much.
Fair. Teams like Miami, like they hit too many big plays to like be, plays around leaders. Like
of course, again, more revisionist history. People saying that Chip Kelly sucked. Again, total revisionist history. Did not happen. He was terrible for the 49ers, but the Eagles' offenses were perfectly fine.
I remember I was like 18 at the time. Do you remember when Nasi Amdullah was traded to the
Philadelphia?
Yeah, and it was like the team of destiny with Vince Young or something.
So
I was like 18 at the time, playing poker in a charitable card room.
That's it. I that did just shake something. All right, let me just add this together because he doesn't have it all in one spot. So he's got 599 pass attempts and 434 rushes. That's 1,033 plays. Last year in the NFL, 1,033 plays would have been seventh most in the 11th most in the NFL. So he obviously does a lot of regressing, right? He just doesn't do huge outliers.
Yeah, something like this happened. I thought it was the reverse, where he was he was good at zone but bad at man, and they made him do the opposite.
That is what happened.
All right. I think our team could go a lot of ways. We're definitely going one tight end. I like Chig. I kind of think we could go two tight ends, though. It was like we just count on Kelsey fading down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely we need a young guy.
You cool with
I
Yoshi
do not
Boss?
like Yoshi Boss. I think he's like one of the worst picks on the board. But I don't care.
All right, we'll go Chig. What do you want? Amari Cooper? You want Mike Williams? You want Wicks?
We should take Roman Wilson.
Let's not do that.
Oh, actually, on this team, we should take MVS.
Do you want any more running backs or no? I think we're cool with this 6.
I'd probably take one more, but it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, if you want to do that, we should go right. Let's just go Yoshi Boss. It's a stack of the Bengals without Burrow. And Yoshi Voss might not be a good football player, but I like his chances to go for 600 yards and 5 to 6 touchdowns. T. Higgins, never exactly a clean bill of health either.
Yeah, he's just so bad. But
I mean,
he could always score.
What's not to like about a guy who's going to be running a lot of routes on a pass-heavy team? And what if he gets better? What if he gets better?
Well, he's 26. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be impossible for him to get better.
He's extremely athletic. Like he's like a 9.6 RAS guy.
Heptathlete at Princeton. He played junior varsity football at Princeton, which is just it's just very funny.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like when the next names off the board are Ty Feltman and Matt Collins, like how can Yoshi Voss be a bad click, you know?
I don't know. I feel like we kind of saw what he was about last year, and he just couldn't get the ball. He had the same targets per route run as Van Jefferson and Justin
500
Watson.
yards, 6 touchdowns. My God, 4 touchdowns on 116 yards the year before. That is, dude scores touchdowns.
MVS had more, bro.
I can't do it with MVS, man.
You want to talk about a guy who scored tuds.
He scored less than Yoshi Voss.
He was on.
I just think like Roman Wilson, all of them. You know what? Rodgers will maybe throw for 20 touchdowns. Burrow will probably be closer to 40. You know, we already have Chase. We've made that bet. We've seen T get hurt at times. I like Yoshi Voss a lot. I view him like the Bengals' Darius Slayton. Is it possible Jermaine Burton comes out of nowhere? Sure.
Probably not Burton, right? Burton seems like more likely to get cut.
I mean, whatever. But I don't know. I think Yoshi Voss is a pretty decent May 7th pick when you need a wide receiver.
Sure, he'll probably be on the field. Guess he's not a zero. I probably would have taken a running back there.
I think we're gonna go third tight end because if all things hit right, Bucky's in our lineup most weeks, and then we just need one other guy: Tank, Eckler, Ray, Ramondre, Najee, and I think we're gonna get some weeks there. I like Chig a lot, mainly because I don't like Tyler Lockett and co. Elikai Minor. And I was a never Chig guy. He finished down the stretch.
But the RuneScape, bro.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good data point to me.
Bullish. It shows he believes in something.
Gabe Davis to Cincy for the wide receiver 3. It makes some sense, but not really because most teams are gonna have Gabe be the blocking wide receiver, and the Bengals are not, this run team.
Yeah. I like the reason I don't like Chig is I like Gunnar Helm though, which is a stupid reason not to like someone. Also, Chig just has a hard time being on the field.
You're Charlie with the board and all the strings of like reasons why you don't like players, and it's all these like fringe college memories of some guys you like.
I do actually think had Helm been able to run the 40, he probably would have been a 3rd round pick.
Didn't he have like a terrible combine? Or he had the hurt ankle or something?
He basically broke his ankle on his first. He went to go run the 40 and like ruined his day. Tough scene to ruin your day.
I actually like how the team came together somewhat. Not everyone will, but I see the vision.
We'll take it. No, this team sucks, but sometimes it doesn't go your way. Just too many.
We can get you back with a Arroyo pick.
Too many floor guys. I do like Arroyo. He's like a really good fit for this team.
Yeah, I think I think Noah Fant could get released still. Like how Gabe Davis just got released.
Yes, I don't think he's owed very much money, but
no, he is. He's owed a lot of money.
Is he?
Let's go. But I don't know when that guarantees. He's owed like $10 million.
His cap hit in 2020. Oh, he actually has a huge cap hit.
Yeah, he's owed a lot of money. So that's why I'm surprised he's still on the team.
Oh, yeah, you know what? He could definitely be. So his 2025 savings as a post June 1st release is $8.9 million. So yeah, he's getting cut.
Yeah, he's getting cut.
So
it's going to be AJ Barner and Arroyo. And Barner showed something too.
Yeah, Barner probably not a zero.
You saw the Richardson pass, man. Let's pull that up.
Dude, completed a 7-yard out, man. It's on my time.
Made me want to ding him 20 spots in the rankings. My God, man. The
Crane had the same response.
The elbow like that is so bad.
It's so funny because I kind of thought the other way just because of I've never seen him complete that pass before. You know what I mean?
The mechanics though look terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, it's out pretty quick.
Sure.
I guess. But
let's do an eliminator together, Davis.
An eliminator.
Yeah,
we should have just drafted the last team in the eliminator.
Well, Darnold is pretty free in the eliminator. We need
Darnold is
more folks for 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Let me make this timestamp. Yeah, the eliminator sweat is obviously going to be a great one.
We're getting positive reports on the mechanics of Richardson.
He's learned, dude. He's a brand new man.
We got the 12 full. Have you been doing any eliminators? Probably not, right? Without the
No,
schedule.
no. I'm trying to
This is. I
max
love the
the
eliminator.
yeah. I'm trying to max all these. I'm trying to max the puppy.
Are you going to max the eliminator?
Definitely not.
I would rather max the eliminator than a puppy.
You
don't think, Davis, for your YouTube channel, you should not max one of the puppies? Eliminator is just twice the price point. Because think of how, like, every week what I'm going to do on my channel is we're going to look at my eliminator teams until
look at your eliminator teams.
Yeah, like that's like a really good sweat for the YouTube channel. Like
So
imagine if someone gets a team 2 to like week 10. That's when you start making a lot of effing money. And it's fun. It's like it's a very clean head-to-head matchup. Like, hey guys, this is what we're sweating this week.
the thing is I don't know any of the math behind it. I haven't read any studies or anything.
When has that stopped you in the past, my friend?
So I don't want to I'm just not just drafting blind.
Okay,
because there will be.
So is everyone, I promise you. But I've been thinking about it a lot because, and let's try to theorize it together right now. So it's a head-to-head matchup. So the trap thought is I just need to have the highest median each week. Incorrect. There are going to be some weeks where you're going to need to score a lot of points. So you need ceiling in there.
Well, actually, most weeks, the thing that you're going to want to value the most is the ability to create
a mega spike.
Differentiators.
No. Well, not really different. Like as far as like someone to score a lot of points, you mean?
Because most fantasy football matchups are not close. You take any two lineups drafted on underdog, the projection is going to be very close, right? So what you actually want is you want as many hits as possible that can take your matchup that's projected 127 to 126. And the ability to create the differentiation.
When I think of the main event on FFPC, anytime I draft like an elite quarterback team, I make the playoffs a lot because I'm just beating the team across from me at quarterback, and we have similar volume. So the quarterbacks' points are obviously important. You can build some super wide receiver rooms in this because people get hungry for the running backs very early.
Sure. Well, zero running back, you just have a harder time
making it out of even week one. Obviously, pod luck is a big part of this game. Like getting matched with low scoring teams, kind of out of your control.
Well, it's the biggest pod luck game.
I would go Nico and Brian. I would go Achan and Henry. I would go JT and Henry, JT Achan, anyone but Bowers. How you feeling?
I would go Nico and Achan.
That's fun to me. Achan could easily be RB1 this year.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Henry, like I'm more likely to draft a Henry in the eliminator because I don't care if he falls off week.
I don't care if he gets hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's just okay. You did your service. Thank you.
Right.
Look, guys. There's going to be pod luck in this game. Obviously, it's head-to-head matchup. So, but I do think there's some levers you can pull here where I don't know. It's a really fun game to theorize about. It's just how do you beat someone head to head again and again and again? And the sweat is super fun. Unfortunately, most of us just won't have a sweat because by math, most of us are eliminated by week 8. I like it too.
Even more than most of us. I believe it is 0.7. Yeah.
Yeah. But I view it's kind of like a main event sweat where you're sweating the regular season, where it's like most of your your puppies, you don't care about week 10, you don't care about week 12, and we probably won't eliminate either because we'll be eliminated.
Right.
But for the beginning, you will, It's like I don't think I would look at my like week 1 sweats on my YouTube channel But, week 4, week 5, when I only have a couple entries left, like, hey guys, this is what we're sweating this week. So I think it would do more for you as a content creator than a puppy would, Davis.
It's just a matter of, I don't know. I mean, the other thing is you do, if I get 1,500 drafts in, then I have I don't know, you have to break the math up, but like my chances of having like one finals team are pretty good.
With you varying all your builds? Sure, yes.
I mean, I had 4 finals teams last year. They just all sucked.
Yeah, I have some teams in the finals. I think every single year I've drafted best ball, I've had teams make the finals. Some years better than others. It's just likely at a certain point when you draft enough.
Yeah. So that's why I am gonna max all these contests, because like last year was like obviously like the most depressing year of fantasy football ever, but like 3 things, I don't know I don't even remember the teams that got there, but if one of the teams that got there spiked, then it wouldn't have mattered. Right.
I kind of like the Eliminator too, because like here's a build I did yesterday, which I would never ever do in Best Ball Mania. Maybe it's not good in the Eliminator either. But it's fun to build different types of squads. Let me try to find this team. Yeah, this team where I drafted like 6 running backs and just a bunch of garbage wide receivers, right? So it's like, okay, Lamb and Hunter, please hold me down. And then I have I'm just trying to beat everyone. I'm trying to have 6 deep at running back. I would never build that in Best Ball Mania because it's too weak at wide receiver. But in a head-to-head capacity, I could see it going good.
I mean, it's just hard for me to think. And also another thing.
Like, I'm just excited by the head-to-head matchup, so I will be maxing this.
The head-to-head matchup is a good sweat. I feel like it's very similar. It's very similar to DFS. Like, I'm relatively confident. Let's do Mike Evans. Mike Evans is an eliminator ass pick.
I kind of think she's going to climb. Like, keep in mind that the eliminator ADP is not tied in. It's a lower volume. So I think we should go Breece and Rice.
I think it's good.
I'd be open to going Rice and Mike.
No, I think having a more equal distribution across points, across positions is nice.
Most of the rooms will be very running back hungry, but there have been some rooms where I went running back early and that didn't happen. And I just got screwed at wide receiver. So it's like, it's pretty variant of how it goes.
Yeah. So like with Best Ball Mania, with these puppies and everything, I feel relatively decent that if I was able to stick my teams in a sim and we could sim it 10,000 times or whatever, my teams over the long run would realize equity. Now that has nothing to do with real life because you could max every contest forever.
You're sim obsessed, man. You got to remove that word from your vocab for Best Ball.
And I would have no similar confidence in simming out teams in the Eliminator that I was doing the right thing, because oftentimes in games that are new, intuitive strategies actually perform poorly. You see this a lot. I mean, you saw this in poker, and I'm sure there's equivalents in chess where there are things that were very commonly accepted that when computers and machine learning got applied to them, common strategies or like well accepted, just like things everyone did, actually turned out to not be good, to be losing money over the long run.
I think thinking intuitively is like a big strength of mine. And so the newer the game, the better for me. Everyone's going to be
I would not say that. I would not say that's true for me at all.
Well, and the newer the game, the softer it is, where, I don't know. Like, I'm not I've never really used the computers or anything. Like, I can't imagine having a draft caddy or whatever you guys use for drafting. Like, can you imagine like you're doing your first home league and someone's like, hey, you're gonna make the picks yourself? You're not gonna have a computer do something?
Oh,
Like,
I use all that stuff. I mean, I've been doing that forever in my home leagues. I've had draft assistants for my home league stuff 6 years ago.
yeah, I guess for people it's like Matthew Berry rankings or something, but I don't know, man. I think it's a really fun sweat. It's a unique contest. It excites me. You can win more money than in the puppy. And if you like, it's unlikely, but if you do get a team week 8, week 9, whatever, you as soon as you're in the money, which I think is like week 3 or 4,
Yeah.
you double your money every week that you progress. You roughly double your money. Sometimes you make more, sometimes a little bit less. So it's a fun sweat. It's a sweat for very few people, but it like, unlike Best Ball Mania, you have a sweat as long as until we get to week 15 if you got a team in the playoffs, right? Whether you have one team, whether you have 40 teams, you have a sweat.
Yeah. I do. I mean, that aspect of it, of having a sweat for meaningful money in like week 7 or whatever, very cool. But
I think I would be better at chess though if like computers didn't exist, because I think all right, Harvey is hard to get, so I think we do it. And then I like Olave. I mean, I like Waddle.
Is Pickens available on this?
Oh, he's for sure going to be available. He goes in the 80s.
I mean, I would have Pickens as a really strong pick here, but Waddle is good too.
No, I'm not. Let's do that because we already have Achane. Let's do Pickens. And it's quote unquote unique. I don't think it's going to end up unique.
It's not going to end up being unique. Well, it's unique right now. Actually, you know what? It could be unique because I think he's going to get dragged up all the way to the next turn. So this combination of players,
and like cool. This dude's build here is like laughably bad for Best Ball Mania, but like if he stops at 4 running backs, like you could see this like working, right? Just Hurts hits your lineup each week. These guys hit your running backs in flex. This guy comes down the stretch, fill out the rest with volume. I think our build is pretty strong where we have firepower at both positions. Running back and wide receiver, we're trying to beat you everywhere.
Someone just offered.
Yeah, that is the trouble with doing unique things on stream. Is when you stream something unique, other people are like, oh, I'm going to do that too. Someone like Ken Walker, like he's interesting because he's more of
also like by the way, uniqueness in this is going to matter intuitively, and I guess a computer would say this wrong. I would say uniqueness is going to matter more because you are looking for ways to have unique rosters when so much of it there are going to be common paired players. Particularly, there's going to be super commonly paired players based off who did well the week before, right? Yeah. So
like late in the year, I think that
will happen. So if like from week 4, 5, and 6, let's say Debo absolutely smashes, then you're going to be facing a lot of Debo teams. I care a lot less about the combinatorics and Best Ball Mania because the final is so small and so much of the uniqueness is created based on who scores well in weeks 15 and 16. So I'm not sweating it as hard in just like regular best ball.
I view it differently. I think for total points, uniqueness is most important because you're competing with the whole field. So being unique, most important. Second most important is something like Best Ball Mania, the puppy, etc., because you want as many outs as possible to have unique combos in your playoff pods, and you want as much win equity as possible if you reach the finals where you want clean sweats. In this, I think uniqueness is not as important because you just have to beat one person. So don't get me wrong. If I get matched up with a Achane team, I would prefer they also don't have Nico, right? Because I want a clean out. But I don't think it's as bad to just have some unique overlap because, instead of even if a guy has a great week, I could simply be facing some other team. You just have to be head to head,
Yeah.
But no, like, and you're going to have a unique lever or two regardless. I do want, like, if you faced a perfectly duped team, the tiebreak is almost always whoever drafted first. So
Right. So there you go. Get your EV in by drafting before the schedule comes out.
this is why I like, by the way, to go the running backs early, because look, Swift, Robinson, these guys are going in like Pollard pick 70, Pacheco pick 80. Pacheco could be a league winner, right? Like naked. Go ahead.
So let's make these picks first because I have another point about final sweats.
Yeah, I'm happy with any of the wide receivers on the screen. We're getting more and more vibes that Ayuk might be ready week 1.
Yeah. I'd probably go. I like Pierce Hall here.
I know you love Pierce Hall, so we'll do Pierce Hall for 1, and we'll go Jaden Reed for the other.
Hawkinson's kind of nice here. I guess we both kind of like the mid-tier tight ends.
Yeah, no. Hawkinson is fine, but I think for 18 rounds, I do want to be building 2 tight end a little bit more. Sus saying I made the Eliminator final last year and had a couple other teams go deep. The rosters in later pods, including the final, had a good amount of variance in terms of healthy players. And the difference last year is it was cut line, I think, the whole way.
It was a big final too, right?
So it would be even more, like this year should be more unique because it's head to head, I would think.
Yeah.
What did you want to say before our picks?
Oh, just the point about being in the final is that, again, like if you view this game through the lens of a computer, it's going to care more about projected points than ownership in the final, which is just, pick the best plays or whatever, which is more of a Best Ball Mania thought than is an Eliminator thought.
Yeah, because, okay, so my point on doubling, this is, I think, week 4. Someone maybe could correct me if I'm wrong. Then you go to $20 if you make it to week 5, $30 week 6, $50 week 7, $100 week 8. Now it starts to get real. $200 week 9, $500 week 10, $1,000 week 11, $2,000 week 12, $5,000 week 13, $10,000 week 14, $20,000 week 15, $50,000 week 16, and then week 17. So I did do that right. You're playing for up to $200K. So yeah, basically get a team to week 3. You made your money back. It seems like I thought you would like that aspect of it too. Like it seems like a good contest to, like, you're not going to return $0 on this contest,
That's true. I mean, I don't really care about returning $0 because my entries are done with underdog site credit for the most part. Not right now. Right now, the money is that I put in my own. I guess assuming that I renegotiate my deal with them.
Must be nice. Underdog hooked me up too.
I guess certainly it's no guarantee that I get another influencer deal with them this year. So I just want to maximize for my business, which is making a final. Like making a final would be life-changing for me, or winning a final would be life-changing for me, not in the sense of the money. The money would be nice, but it would be really good for my business.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've won a bunch of best ball contests. Didn't, the money, I think the money was the mainly great
But
part.
you are not optimizing for your business. Like you're not like you just keep drafting.
I should have launched best ball 2 years ago, probably after I won the 555. But
yeah, and you should have paid for like a video editor and a thumbnail artist and like
whatever.
But it's like whatever. Exactly.
I'm happy in life, and
that's what it's all about, man.
And my main goal is to win money drafting best ball teams each year. And now my main goal is to supply value on my site, which I do.
Yeah.
So I call this the Jordan Mason line. Jordan Mason and one other guy is like the end of a tier. Quarterbacks tend to go pretty high in these. Yeah, see? People are recognizing. Okay, I think we have to go Charbonnet because he's like the clear end of a tier at running back. And then pay attention, Davis. We need your help for these picks.
So I think we definitely
I
need
think naked Goff is fine.
I think naked Goff is super fine.
Yeah, you happy with Charbonnet and Goff?
I'm trying to think if there's anything better than Sharbs. Do Goff first.
Well, the thing about Sharbs is if you don't take Sharbs, you're looking at this. So I like Sharbs because of that.
I'm trying. Yeah, I think
Sharbs and Jordan Mason are the end of a tier as far as like comfort.
It's just tough because we only want 2 tight ends. So I'm trying to think through.
The tight ends fall on this. They fall.
Yeah. We'll do Sharbs.
Yeah. I think it's prudent to get him because some of these guys have a lot more upside, I guess you could say, like a 2-in or ETN. But I prefer like Mason and Charbonnet. I like their chances to hit my lineup a lot of the time.
Yeah. I just wonder. I wonder if
we did see Dak, by the way, go pick 102 here.
That's
probably because we're streaming this with Pickens.
Yeah. I wonder if we're having a little bit of like kind of false confidence in Charbonnet of like thinking there's a greater chance of him being a weekly contributor when he probably is just a handcuff.
I see it going both ways, actually. Like I could see Walker falling a little bit out of flavor and Charbonnet being like similar to like Jordan Mason, where we're like, Aaron Jones like could lose a role here. Like I'm a little bit uneasy about Ken Walker. I still take Ken Walker because he has home run hitting and he has been the dominant guy. But I think it's quite possible Seattle liked what they saw from Zach. You know, like that he played he was a full down guy when he played last year.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their usage stuff from when Walker got back last year because I actually don't remember.
Cullen's saying Dak was a star method error for me. I don't think it's a crazy error. Like
no, I mean, yeah, it's I was gonna like I think he really is just ranked there now. All right, so Walker misses weeks 2 and 3, comes back in week 4. So let's go from week 4 to the end of the season. So from week 4 to the end of the season, Walker averages 64% of the snaps. Sharbs averages 47, including starts in week 14 and 15. There are some games here where he was playing a lot of the long down and distance. So he played 81% of the long down and distance. Walker played 25%. So I think that's probably I think he is definitely the like he's not a 0 if Walker stays healthy all year.
No, he's not for sure. And Ken Walker is a little bit of the DeAndre Swift thing where he probably doesn't hit the hole exactly as coaches want. I do kind of view their coach as like wanting, I think he could tire of that. Like, and when I think of Sam Darnold, I kind of think Charbonnet, getting checkdowns from him fits kind of well.
Right.
It's just the comfort level as far as like having 4 running backs I feel decently good about. Charbonnet checks that box for me where if I'm forced to go like, tank as my RB4, like this is who's left right now. This is why I think
I agree. I think you're clearly right. I was just kind of thinking out loud because I've had a tough time thinking because Charbonnet is the most expensive of this tier, but I think like what is week 1, Zach Charbonnet is going to be projected for 5.2 half PPR points or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it's a fragile projection where like we could see this in a 50-50 split. We could see Ken Walker shipped out at the trade deadline. Like I think it's pretty clear Seattle views themselves as good, not great. And you got the new head coach.
I think they view themselves like they're open for business. I think they would not mind winning 4 games this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think they're softly trying to blow it up. So shipping out Walker at the trade deadline, totally possible. So yeah, I don't know. Walker's kind of a fragile 5th-round pick to me, where we're just assuming he's going to be, and he hasn't been a clean bill of health very much.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk week 1 production is pretty nice. Also going 2 tight ends is nice. Also, this is like the end of the quarterbacks. Okay, so Stroud for sure with Nico.
I agree, Stroud.
Pick.
I agree, Stroud for sure. I mean, I like Tucker Kraft a lot.
I do too. But this is the wide receiver tier. So do we want to do Kirk?
To me, I know you like Kirk. To me, Kirk is like no different than Cedric Tillman or whatever, but I know you like him.
He's not, well, the thing is, I like these tight ends a lot too.
Yeah, I think we need
let's do Kirk for the double with Stroud.
Sure. I probably would go Kraft just to get like some week 1 projection at tight end or whatever, but it's not a big deal.
It is tough for me to pass on those tight ends, but like when I see Kyle Williams, who's like going to be probably a 0 for the first 8 weeks of the year.
New Jalen Polk.
Yeah, like when that's the next name at like catching the end of a tier is just valuable in best ball repeatedly, where like I've had David Njoku just like fall to 160. Like obviously
it makes no sense to me why Njoku is falling when Travis Hunter is not a Brown. Njoku should, yeah.
It's quarterback confidence. Like no one knows who the quarterback is there.
Well, right. So, I mean, and even if like there is no stacking of Browns players. There's no quarterback who's going to start 17 games. There's probably no quarterback who's going to start 10 games for them.
Yeah. I don't like Kirk, a much better pick in the Eliminator too. You don't even need him to be a thing. Like if Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel are the guys from week 10 onwards, who cares? Right? Like if Kirk gets you 2 games where, I mean, like we're still not guaranteed to get Rice week 1, right? And Ricky Pearsall could be a bust.
Not guaranteed.
Like Ricky Pearsall could be the most overdrafted guy ever. Off
Ricky Pearsall.
Week.
I've been having this thought a lot because I'm so heavy on him. You know who Ricky Pearsall could be?
Who?
Do you remember Dante Pettis for the 49ers? Yeah. I mean, that was the classic Shanahan guy. He was like a 4th round pick. So rookie year for Pettis. He basically does nothing for a majority of the season, then rips off 477-1, 5-129-2, 3 for 49-1, 5 for 83 to end the year. And effectively, that was the end of his 49ers career. Like that was it. He never did anything after that.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Pearsall could be, like 70 points. It could be DeMarcus Robinson. We don't know. Like he had an awesome week 17. He was pretty garbage before that, right?
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk might just be healthy week 1. Like that is what one of the PT guys online who is a 49ers fan, by the way, which, he's like, he keeps on tweeting Brandon Ayuk week 1. So I don't know. It's like Ayuk and Jennings. If Jennings is not a fraud, like one of Jennings or Pearsall could be quite a bad pick. Ricky got shot. I thank you. I do know Ricky Pearsall did get shot. He was a 1st round pick too, right? So what's my guess for Ricky is he's probably the Jaden Reed of the 49ers. And what I mean by that is I think he has some big games in his range of outcomes, but he's not going to be Mr. Steady Eddie, right? Like he's going to give you some big games in your lineup, which is valuable in best ball. But as far as like week in and week out, I don't know. And
don't see that comp at all, like stylistically, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying like a 1-to-1 like Debo Light.
Yeah.
Goddard would have made it back to us a lot, is also kind of why I wanted it to pass.
Yeah, Kyle Williams is a bad pick in this format for sure.
It's a bad pick in probably all the formats. It's like drafting. I mean, look, he could be a league winner, so sure.
He is.
Close your eyes.
He is the only. He's the only wide receiver in this class who had 2 yards per team pass attempt as a true freshman. So I think he's got a little juice.
Do you want a 3rd quarterback for this team?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think so. I think
Pitts and likely is pretty nice, honestly.
I mean, you know me, man. I am never going to say no to Kyle Pitts.
I think this is on the fence, but yeah, I think you just pray different bye weeks. I think for passing on tight end, it's a really nice consolation prize to get the likely Pitts duo. Where honestly, I'm comfortable stopping at 2 there if we need to. We could tack on a third if we want. We could tack on a third quarterback if we want. But as far as like having the framework of our team, Goff and Stroud, H.N. Hall, Harvey Sharps, Nico Rice, Pickens, Pearsall, Reed, Kirk, likely Pitts, seems pretty good to me. And then fill in the depth of these last 4 picks. Probably need at least 2 more running backs.
I think my intuition, and obviously no way to like back test this or whatever, would be that you just want as many flex eligible players as possible. So a third quarterback is probably bad.
So one year I was curious. I was like, how much does a third quarterback add to your lineup? How much does a third tight end add to your lineup? And I just pulled a bunch of random combinations, right?
Third quarterbacks add way more points to like a Best Ball Mania style roster than you would think.
Yeah, and what I found by doing that study is now this changes. Like if one of your quarterbacks happens to be like a Justin Fields level of rusher or something, but like if you're taking similar tiered guys, what I found is both third quarterback and third tight end add quite a bit of actual points. Like third tight end adds a lot, but it's 18 rounds, so that's harder. Third quarterback can add a lot because even though I feel good with Stroud and Goff, there's going to be a lot of weeks where they go 11 points each. Like they're both pure pass dependent quarterbacks, right? They have no rushing floor. But if we were going to go with third quarterback, that was the pick to do it because we're going to be staring at Dart and Co. And it's like, is it even worth it anymore? Maybe not, right? We just kind of have to hope that either Goff and Stroud ping pong good weeks, or we just get a lucky matchup where we don't need 20 points at quarterback, you know? Like what would you, we have a 2-4-6-2. There's 4 more picks. What would you want? I think at least 2 more running backs.
Yeah.
At least 1 more wide receiver. And then that
it's just like it is the most simplistic thing, but it's like 3 is more than 2, and you have to have 3 wide receivers every week. So I would maybe even say 9 wide receivers in this, but
I don't think 9 makes sense with us. Like the bet we're making is Nico and Rice are hitting our lineup week in and week out.
Week in, week out, yeah.
So like really we're only looking for 1 more wide receiver spot, you know?
Right.
And this running back room could be good, but we need some points here, my friend. Right? Like Sharps is RB4. We could have overlapping buys. I think
the overlapping buys, doing this without the schedule is it is an insane gamble.
Yeah, but that's weighed out by other people drafting now are probably terrible because they don't care about that either. And also there's some unique ADPs out there. I think I would
assume anyone drafting now is probably unlikely to be truly bad. Like probably you are in sharper rooms in average on May 7th and on August 15th or whatever.
Well, if everyone thinks it's bad to draft the Eliminator, if all the sharp people don't want to draft the Eliminator without the schedule, who's that leave drafting with us? People who don't care about that. So, and I don't care about that. I think the best structure, if I had to choose one, is 3-6-7-2.
3-6-7-2. Okay, I think you're. I would disagree.
What would you choose?
I would say top would be 6-2-6-8-2, followed by
2-6-8-2 is my best structure for Best Ball Mania. For
2-5-8-3 would actually probably be my top because you are providing yourself more cover at tight end and adding, instead of a third quarterback, a third flex eligible player.
I like 3.573 as my probably second best.
3.57.
Okay, both the running backs go I wanted.
We should take one of the Denver running backs.
I think we can do that with our last pick. Do you want another tight end or no?
No, I don't think so.
We gotta get
Michael Wilson is an eliminator ass pick.
Yeah, him, Pierce, Yoshi Voss. Okay, let's go Wilson. And then, do you like Sampson? Do you like Hill?
I like Justice Hill as an eliminator ass pick.
I like Jalen. Oh, we already have Achane. Justice Hill. I think Justice Hill.
Ping-ponging weeks, dude.
Is Keaton Mitchell just going to be a league winner? Like, what's your vibe there?
I have a lot of Keaton Mitchell on the big board because someone told me his name was Keaton Missile. That was all I needed.
Well, I just remember him and Jaleel's rookie year. Both of those guys ripped off big runs. Keaton
Mitchell led the National Football League in rush yards over expectation his rookie year.
So 2.682 is I think the best structure for Best Ball Mania.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the same for the Eliminator. Because like in Best Ball Mania, the way I approach it differently is like I don't care if I have a bad week or two. You can't have a bad week in this and make the finals. Most likely. What's your vibe of the Sampson Ford split?
I
still slightly prefer Ford, but
shocking.
Yeah, I think you should give deference to like the guy who catches passes and has played in the league.
I think you should definitely give deference to the guy who took a pay cut on his rookie deal to stay on the team.
That's a good guy for him remaining with the team.
My serious answer is that the Cleveland Browns scored 8 rushing touchdowns as a team last year, second worst in the NFL. They are probably worse as a football team this year than they were last year. They're going to be running like a different offense every single week because the quarterback is going to be chopped and changed.
They're going to run 3 different quarterbacks.
They're going to play 4. I would book 4 quarterbacks to register snaps for them at even money, I think.
I think there's other running backs that have more upside. The
real answer is that I think Ford probably starts the year as the guy that you'd like to have, the guy playing passing downs and stuff or whatever. But by like week 11, I think it's probably 3 guys playing, which is just like the worst.
I don't think I'm drafting Sampson at all yet.
No, same.
Ford, when I need some production, I'll draft Ford. Like I think we would have drafted Ford over Hill on this team is what I'm trying to ask. And I think
Hill is just gonna get his 72 underdog points.
I know, man, but I think we remember Hill a little bit more better than like. Look, get a lucky 5 touchdown season, I guess.
No, actually, it's funny you say that, Liam, because I had that same realization yesterday. We think Justice Hill had this like kind of awesome fantasy season last year, and it was just the same year it's always been. It was just so stark because he was playing more snaps than ever.
Yeah.
Because Derrick Henry can't be on the field in passing situations. And to be fair, he also did have a 2 touchdown game. I mean, that was the big difference.
Which is not really what we're trying to hunt in this as much, I think. Like, right. I mean, look, 2 touchdowns is nice, but we are.
It was you know what it was? It was the nationally televised 6 for 78 in one game against Buffalo. That's why we think he had.
He did get hurt for some games too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like Breece. He's kind of like Ken Walker-ish too, where like I don't know how stable he is week to week, but he has a high ceiling.
I think a lot of the Breece fears are quite overstated. Would be my opinion.
Possible, but I'm just like how I'm kind of viewing him on a Justin Fields Jets team. Like pull up what was the running back breakdown that year of Fields and DJ Moore, where DJ Moore had that like miracle year.
What was that, 2022?
I think so. Real quick, last picks here. One's a running back for sure. Let's wait for Bumper here because I have an idea too. Actually, yeah, Jaleel went. So, okay, we need a running back, Davis. Kareem Hunt, Kendra. I like Kendra.
You know who's a good pick in this format is Mostert.
Yeah,
Not that I would ever really take. I actually think Woody Marks is good.
Woody Marks is like Justice Hill on the. He's a stack, I guess.
On the Texans, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do Marks. What do you want to do with this last pick? Third tight end, eighth wide receiver.
I think eighth wide receiver. I think we take Isaac Tesla.
No, I think we need earlier production than that.
A.D. Mitchell or Mike Williams.
Fine. We'll get the stack with Tesla. I don't like it. I kind of like a third tight end or third quarterback or seventh running back, but hopefully Tesla's hitting us. You know, as Kirk slows down, Tesla speeds up. I don't know. What are we hoping for Tesla? Jameson Williams gets suspended?
I mean, I think you're just hoping that he plays the role Tim Patrick played last year and just runs hot on touch. He's Andre Yoshi boss on the Lions.
Didn't Tim Patrick re-sign with them?
Yeah, but they traded up for Tesla. So you're just hoping.
But I don't know if that's like as meaningful for the Lions because they probably viewed their roster like these third round picks are not making our team. So like,
well, Brad Holmes is the opposite of he's like the opposite of the Ravens. He's like, I don't give a shit about value. I'm getting my guys.
I think the trade made sense for both teams. Like the Jags needed the picks, and the Lions are like, I just want this player. I don't need these third round picks. Like we're trying to get a guy that can make a difference for us. Because like Pickens, he's going to be boom bust week to week. I think Pearsall will as well. I think Reed will as well. Hopefully Nico and Rice are hitting the lineup most of the week. So if Tesla just gives us 3 big weeks and that helps us beat a team, it's worth it. It's a little thin at tight end, but it could work. He's a little thin at running back unless RJ Harvey is the best pick at running back, probably, right? I think we'll do another.
I am not down on. I like Breece. By the way, the snap and touch distribution. Montgomery played 66% of the snaps. He was replaced at the goal line, which is interesting. Hardly any attempts inside the 5, but he played 62% of the 2-minute drill, 74% of long down and distance. Khalil Herbert handled all of the inside the 5 attempts, as a running back, and only 38% of long down and distance. That was back when we thought Khalil Herbert was good.
David, super chatting us. How's my team looking for the 8th spot? We'll take a peek real quick, David. Amon-Ra, Bowers, Marv, Worthy, Smith, Montgomery, RB1, Mahomes and Kyler, Mason, Williams, Spears, Bigsby, Kyle Williams, Rico, Wandale, Gesicki, Cooper, Ray. Yeah, the real question for you is, are you getting enough production at running back? Which it's hard to say, right? Like, you really need Spears to have some good weeks. You need Tank to be at least what he was last year. You need Javonte to be around 100 points. And you probably need to be lucky at the distribution of them, where I think you probably put too much capital in the wide receiver, seeing as you started with 4 wide receivers, like the Ray McLeod, Amari Cooper. One of these guys should have been a running back probably at a minimum. How you feeling, Davis?
I don't like going so in on the olds. Like, that's just like, you could kind of just be out of run. Like, let's say you are having a good season. I mean, you could be out of running backs by week 4. Like Javonte,
you're drawing thin to get out of week 1, honestly. But
yeah.
But and you're gonna need to have Montgomery needs to hit the lineup plus Mason for several weeks. I do like Spears and Bigsby. I don't know if I can do Javonte at 113. I just think there's another thing left. Like, Could be.
No,
What,
I very much agree.
like Miles Sanders, how many years ago was it where he was good? 2 years ago? Like
2 years ago.
yeah,
And he
what if
wasn't even really good. It's just he just played a lot.
he was
He,
just
in
on
fact,
the
he was like kind of actively terrible for the Eagles.
You need the Rico Chuba split to actually be a 1A 1B. Like you need Rico to be the Sharps of the Panthers, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it because you took Kyle Williams. So you're like, am I getting wide receiver points? But yeah, I don't know. It's a little, and I think I love Bowers. The talent, it's just kind of hard in the eliminator, I think, to make work always. Like I've done some Bauer teams and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good about this or this. Let's do another Elim Davis. Just because I've done so many best ball manias, I don't want to rip too many more before schedule. 8 more, 30-second clock, folks.
The Eliminator.
I don't think this is the right way to think about it. This is the same type of thought process as the people who think the way you win best ball mania is just to get as many teams to the playoffs. And there's no disagreement. You can't win best ball mania if you don't get to the playoffs. But what you're trying to do if you're drafting a lot of these is you're trying to build one super team.
Right.
Not 20, you're not trying to get 80 teams to week 2, right? Like all of them could stink. You're trying to get one team that if the right pieces lock into place is a super team. It's just, you see that team and you're like, God damn, I'm out to project. I'm like, I'm going to be beat by like 25 points this week,
Right.
So
I guess that is the right way to think about it. It's just like having like one, like if you just have one team that is just nutted out, you have your 2023 Puka and Kyron on one team. You're just sweating that every week.
Yeah, like, and maybe that makes the Bowers of the world a little bit more enticing because going back to David's team, Chuba breaks his leg week 1. Javonte somehow is the only Cowboys RB1. ETN and Tootin go to 0, whatever. Like you hit the right combination of 0 running back pieces. Like that seemed like 0 running back for this, I would say is bad as far as thinking you might make it out of week 1. But as far as likelihood of building a super team, I don't know who it is. But, if 5 guys are league winners, picks 150 and after at running back, so pretend it's Ray Davis, pretend it's Rashad White, pretend it's Eckler.
Well, you are, just
Braylon.
like it is just straight up true. You are so much more likely to build a super team drafting 0 running back because that's how you luck into the highest projected permutations.
Yes. So it's like these drafts are so running back heavy because everyone's like, okay, optimize for week 1. That's what I can control. I agree.
Yeah.
It's tempting to do that, but I will be building some teams that start 6 wide receivers, stop at 6. Just pretend I picked the right ones. And then 8 running back darts, whatever, something like that.
Yeah. That's just something that I'm trying to do more in general.
You want to go CMC or neighbors?
I want to go CMC. I think CMC is so sick actually for this format because if he dies in week 8, you're probably already good.
And you don't even need him to make it the whole season, No,
exactly. Yeah. What was I about to say? Oh, I am just trying to actively draft different textures of teams this year more often.
Yeah, that was a big takeaway of mine last year as well. And I've always said that, like, if the sharp crowd, if the people watching chip chasing or whatever are all thinking one structure superior, I want to be competing with the folks who are not consuming content structures, where, like I want to just be building the best of that. How many teams advance each week? So the way it works is week 1, 6 of the 12 teams will be eliminated. From there, you get put in head-to-head pods, and it's a head-to-head pod all the way till the end. So it's very hard to make it far, folks, but it's a very fun sweat as long as you keep going. And it's a clean sweat too, you know?
It's a clean sweat. Let's do running back.
Yeah. You cool with HM?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is real fun. Where it's like another way to build a team is if you have selected the correct 2 running backs, just pretend that they're hitting your lineup almost every week. And then you can go thinner at running back. Like that's another way to do it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I think maybe we only do 4 running backs on this one.
Yeah, I think with the 18 rounds, I'm okay getting like the 20 rounds is just like whatever 3, 6, 8, 3, sure, just like do that all the time.
Yeah, that commenter is right though. By the way, Yoshivas is not gaining 20 pounds of muscle; he's maybe gaining 5 pounds of muscle, but you can get bigger in other ways. Kelvin Benjamin.
I will never forget Kelvin Benjamin. Josh Allen's rookie year, straight up telling Josh when Josh asked him, "Hey man, you want to like run some routes before the game?" He just said no.
No, not interested.
Like, brother, you're not even pretending anymore that you're gonna be in the league. My God, man, how far the Bills have come.
People forget Kelvin Benjamin with one of the worst good fantasy seasons of all time, like worst real football, terrible. Or good fantasy numbers, terrible like real life fantasy football value.
If Kelvin Benjamin cared, he could have had a career like Jordan Matthews, where like Jordan Matthews is still like kicking around on.
Jordan Matthews played at tight end for the Panthers last year.
Yeah, like he's still like like he's obviously fallen far out of favor, but he's like getting checks still. Kelvin.
I got to pee real quick.
Okay, I might go after these picks. So this is pretty normal as you're seeing JT Jacobs in the mid-second, right? Like this is pretty normal for these eliminators. And again, there's a large variety of how these rooms perform. And it can be a little striking going back to Best Ball Mania. What if Yoshi Voss is actually RB1? Come on, man. I don't like Yoshi Voss. Obviously, he could lose his job, but as far as trying to cash in routes on the Bengals, that's a decent bet for finding fantasy points. And those types of guys are actually pretty good in best ball, especially like Best Ball Mania, because you don't need them to hit your lineup each week. You actually like that they have big spikes some weeks, nothing the other weeks, because you just want them to hit the right time, a la what Zay Jones did in the playoffs.
Oh,
playoff
Zay
week.
Jones season. Yeah.
Like Gabe Davis has been this guy before. MVS has been this guy before. These guys who spike but have bad floors are really great picks to get you further in the playoffs if it hits at the right time.
I wouldn't say they're great picks, but I would say they are useful picks.
Yeah, they're very useful, great picks or whatever to end up
the thing
when it comes together.
So, the thing that's interesting about Yoshi Voss, though, is that he's going to be. How owned is he going to be? How many? What percentage of drafts will he be drafted in? It's like
he's
a relatively high
a lot,
number.
but he shouldn't like. He's going to have a decent advance rate correlating with Burrow, but he shouldn't be having a crazy advance rate by himself. The thing with Yoshi Voss as well is like you can tell yourself the story that he puts it together year 3 or whatever it is. Like small school prospect. As far as Princeton's not a football school. I think we just cash in JSN here.
Eliminator ass pick, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, he's not a guy I draft a lot, but correlating with the 49ers, getting division stacks, seems sharp, passes ADP. These guys go. I like Kyron a lot more in the Eliminator. Don't care if he's benched later.
Yeah. I mean, then again, those are the money weeks, right? Like the super.
They are the money weeks, so yeah. But still, like if you have a good enough team, you can carry a guy getting whatever. Like I think Yoshi Voss is like, look at Alec Pierce, man. Like this is Alec Pierce. 502, 502. Last year, 807. These types of guys, they can run hot in a year. I like Jaden. You want to do Jaden?
We're going to be pretty thin at wide receiver. It's fine. I'd probably do Evans or Rice or more, but it doesn't matter.
Because it's streamed, maybe. I've done Jaden quite a bit. I like Hunter too. I don't know. The elite quarterback is just so nice. It's like you stop at 2. But all right, we'll do Mike. Yeah. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
All right, so we have Christian McCaffrey, Devin Achane, Jackson Smith-Njigba. But I do think taking Mike Evans was the right move there. Daniels, one of the things I'm thinking is I don't know how much quarterback spike weeks matter in this, because even still, let's say we actually knew Jaden Daniels, like let's say he projected for 28 points every week. So like a standard deviation higher than every other quarterback. Standard deviation higher than Allen, standard deviation higher than Lamar and Hurts. You're still not going to be creating as much differentiation as you are with spike weeks in the flex. Like the Eliminator, the more I'm thinking about it, and again, I guess we would need to study this more, but I do know that in seasonal fantasy football, like the game that we play on like the FFPC or whatever, winning the flex is like basically the name of that game. So that's something that I have transferred over to this. And you just are going to project so much better in the flex with what we did. You were just going to project way better in the flex.
I do agree with this somewhat. Like the quarterbacks, the elite guys, they sometimes can win you a week. At the same time, like, through week 5 last year, Josh Allen was like, whatever, QB 7 or something.
I mean, it's just like there's no point in talking about fantasy football as a structural exercise if your answer to everything is player X can win you a week by himself because he did it once. Like it just.
Well, I think the more broader point is how valuable are the elite quarterbacks in the Eliminator? Is what that question is getting at.
Yeah.
I think Mike Evans, he's nice for the Eliminator because Godwin could be slow. Igbuka could be a bust or slow, etc. How are you viewing a guy like Amari Hampton in the Eliminator? Goes at the same ADP. Don't know if he should.
I would maybe ding him slightly in the Eliminator, like just because like maybe they're like, okay, we're gonna start Najee,
Yeah,
like Najee, like we told Najee he was the starter when he signed, so we're gonna start him in week 1.
And honestly, like if the Chargers are a playoff team, no reason not to run Najee into the ground and give Hampton a bit of an easier time. Like it's somewhat common for rookie running backs to hit like a little bit of a wall, like a little bit later in the season, as far as guys who are like dominating touches. So Chuba going higher in the Eliminator makes a lot of sense.
Is that true? I feel like the opposite is true. I feel like rookie in general score more points in the back half of the season.
In general, yes, but that's with guys not seeing the field right away. With guys like Bijan and stuff, I think they like slowed a little bit.
Remember the Bijan migraine game where he played 1 snap?
I do remember that. I don't remember what about it.
I hate Arthur Smith, man. Arthur Smith is a football terrorist.
He's probably a big reason Pickens got traded away.
I think he got traded away because they just decided he's no good. Or not good enough to get paid the money that he is going to demand.
Wow, James Conner, 55. Like this is how some of the rooms react, where it's like,
yeah, that is too much.
Well, you pretty much have to acquiesce. You like if you want 2 running backs week 1, and Walker, Chuba, and Kamara go, and like
No,
you
I
need to
would
acquiesce.
not acquiesce. I would just say
You're gonna end
maybe
up with some like rooms of like Trey Benson RB3 then,
I think that's fine. As opposed to just shooting your projected points in the foot.
Harvey, how you feeling about that? And then we stop for a while.
I'd probably take JMO.
I think we're gonna get a wide receiver we like. So do you like Henderson or Harvey if you had to choose?
I like Harvey more.
Yeah. I think someone's saying Pollard will still be around 2 rounds. That's incorrect. That is in Best Ball Mania, you're right. Pollard will be here. Swift will be here. In the Eliminator, Pollard goes in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
I
true.
like going double wide receiver is what I would normally do in BBM. But as far as trying to hit like 3 running backs we can hang our hats on, I think Harvey fits the bill. And, then we're going to be able to scoop what should be the values later in the draft, which is the wide receivers. And like a guy like this guy's he's not going to chill at running back, right? Like he wanted Connor. He's going to want another guy.
I guess that's true. I think the point that everyone is not realizing is they're assuming that if the room is forcing you into a situation where Trey Benson is your wide receiver or your running back 3,
should we get Jameis still?
Oh, that's sick.
Pretty sick.
If your logic is, oh well, Trey Benson is my running back 3, but the rest of my team looks standard, that would be literally the exact opposite way that it would go. You're going to be getting, if your room is that running back heavy, you are going to be getting huge values on projected points at wide receiver. Probably you're getting stuff like TJ Hawkinson is like a 9th round pick. Like you are, I mean, this is fantasy football 101, but teams that succeed while paying a lower cost at running back are the greatest ways to access ceilings.
I agree with you, but I also think that if a room is being running back heavy, then there are going to be some teams that started 3 running backs and are also getting those values at wide receiver.
Right.
So like all of a sudden, like I've had some drafts where I felt like I ate my cake and had it too, or whatever that saying is, where I had like, let's try to find one. I labeled this one strong. So I started with Saquon, Bucky, Chase Brown. And then I had Olave fall to pick 75. I had Ayuk fall to pick 94, right? Like, and then I just threw some guys in there. I have 2 tight ends I feel okay about. I have like 4 running backs I feel decent about. I was on the fence about a 3rd quarterback, but I was like, whatever. We'll throw Dart in here. I had Mayfield fall to me. So I think this is a good team for the Eliminator where I feel like I have 4 good wide receivers and I have 4 good running backs and then depth. So there are times where you can have your cake and eat it too when these rooms are so running back heavy.
Yeah.
This is a very funny community member, by the way. BB Meat Gazer.
Guy is funny. This actually, I mean, we actually are kind of having our cake and eating it too here.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah,
I like JMO. I get the vibes are poor for some people. I don't know why. I think there's this bias against JMO, but JMO as far as a guy to just like win you your matchup feels really good,
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I'm with you.
And this is like, so okay, RJ Harvey goes 58, Pollard goes 71, Johnson goes 68, Swift goes 73. I like Swift too. I raised him a lot, especially on launch day. Like I got a lot of him at like a pick 100, where I'm sure he's climbed from there. There's still some J.K. Dobbins could land there. Even Nick Chubb, I think the market would care about. I don't care about Nick Chubb, but I could see that happening. Yeah, I feel like we're having our cake and eating it too, and we're going to like some of the wide receivers later too.
Drew Dinkmeyer has been messaging me about this dynasty trade for like the last 90 minutes. No one is a better. Drew Dinkmeyer is the greatest fantasy football co-manager of all time. If you ever get to have the pleasure.
I thought he was trying to trade with you.
No, we're working through this.
What's the trade?
I mean, it's not even interesting. It's like we're like going through like who we would cut and if we should trade away our 305 for a vet or keep the pick.
Figure that out later, man. I don't know that.
Well, I'm in about I don't even know how many. About
how
17.
do you view a guy like Judkins in the Eliminator? I've taken him some just because I want a running back, but like I don't feel great about it.
I just don't love Judkins. Like, I'm just so low on the Browns. I mean, I guess he's fine. I don't
Godwin
know.
pick 80, reflecting concerns of starting on PUP makes sense.
Yeah. And we're gonna be fine at wide receiver here.
Yeah, I think we ripped two of these guys. Let's do Ayuk this time. Let's do Golden. Cool with Golden?
Yes. I mean, not a great format fit, but the JMO Golden like combo ceilings thing could be fun.
Yeah, and really just need him to give you some spikes. Like he might be expensive Christian Watson.
Christian Watson for like stretches at a time has been like there was a time that Christian Watson was like a top 15 wide receiver.
I've always been a Christian Watson guy. His rookie year was like real good too.
Yes, yeah, phenomenal. And I'm not a Golden hater.
This is why I wanted to go RJ Harvey, because it's like I don't really want to take Pacheco.
I don't really want to take Pacheco. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, both of the wide receivers went, which is, I think, a little bit unlucky. Baker makes sense. Kupp has gone too. You want to do Baker?
Yeah. We have.
You want to go Mooney? You want to go Mahomes?
We have Goff and Love live. I think we take Mooney.
Okay. We could also go Ibuka.
Mooney, I think.
Yeah. Ibuka falls a lot in this. I have a ton of Ibuka. Yeah,
don't you think probably like at least for like 3 weeks they're gonna make Ibuka earn it? I mean, they played Sterling Shepard over Jalen McMillan for a little bit last year.
I mean, if Chris Godwin starts on PUP, do they have that option?
I'm not expecting him to start on PUP, but no, they would not have an option.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just kind of like, dude, 17th overall pick in the draft. Going as pick 100. Like, I'm into that.
Yeah.
But Mooney, yeah. Mooney's he's just a solid pick in best ball anyways. He's like cheaper, poor man's JMO, I guess you could say. Gives us a stack. And Michael Penix might just be really good. The jury's still a little bit out there. The nice thing about that whole division is a lot of those defenses were terrible last year, probably didn't get much better. Like all those teams tried, but like the Bucs defense was terrible. They were like the Bengals, good offense, bad D.
Yeah, and that was how Darnell Mooney got all his stats. Mooney got all his stats against the Buccaneers. His two best games are against the Buccaneers.
Yeah. The Panthers defense was god awful. They obviously put a lot of money into it. The Falcons defense had no pass rush. They put a lot of draft picks into it. And then the Saints are kind of like a dumpster fire of a squad. You got all these dome games, it's like there's some allure there.
Yeah. Xavier Restrepo still having people mention him in YouTube comments is just a great bit. Just like a really, really good bit. Like, yeah, dude, the undrafted free agent for the Titans, man. Totally.
I mean, I feel that way about like half the back end where it's like Brashard Smith, Jalen Royals, Restrepo, Elikai Minor. Like most of these guys are probably the worst picks on the board. Maybe one of them is Io
Manor. Io Manor is for sure a terrible pick.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, did people not learn a lesson from Troy Franklin last year? People are leaving comments on my YouTube videos when I say he's not a good pick and being like, okay, but who is the wide receiver 2 in Tennessee? And it's like, well, guys,
Tyler Lockett.
you might not want the wide receiver 2 in Tennessee.
And they're gonna play 12 with
yeah, it's probably Chig.
Helm
But
and Wiley.
did you want the wide receiver 2 in New England last year? No, you didn't.
You didn't even really want the wide receiver.
You
one
wanted
in
no
England
one
last
in
year.
New England. You wanted absolutely no one in New England, right? So there are some teams like that. And okay, if Cam Ward is Jaden Daniels, different equation, right? But that kind of needs to happen, right?
Yeah. Undrafted free agents and day 3 picks. I'm just not taking them.
I mean, Nick, like, very routinely doesn't seem to understand what's being said here from his comments, but obviously anything can work. And I've been the guy in the past who says, don't be afraid of risking a 0. Like, I think it's a big, like, I was fighting with the CEH cabal last year, being like, hey guys, take anyone. But in all likelihood, a lot of these 7th round rookies, 5th round rookies, 6th round rookies are not good picks. And there are some veterans, the Yoshi Vosses of the world, who we can count for some points, and points matter in best ball.
Yeah.
The item parlay you have to hit is Cam Ward must be good. He must be.
You know what? He just kind of has to be serviceable. He definitely doesn't have to be like
he has
good.
to be good enough. He has to be good. Like, he cannot be Bryce Young rookie year. He can't be that.
Yeah.
You know? And then Ridley, you know, the team has to be pretty decent. They're scoring touchdowns. I don't know. Lockett's got to be a 0. That seems fine. Chig's late season breakout last year has to be a mirage, because he did kind of break out a little bit late as far as like drawing targets. So I don't know. It's just it's kind of a big parlay. It was a prospect people liked a lot. I guess if you're being generous to Imanor, you could say he's cheaper Kyle Williams.
I thought he was going to be a 2nd round pick, and he wasn't. But so, like, yeah. I'm probably not smarter than all the NFL teams.
Do we want to go Goff with JMO?
Goff with JMO.
Naked Caleb is fun too.
Well, I think we do Goff, because those will be
I like Shaheed too.
Super correlated ceilings.
Yeah, well, and what's nice is even when JMO's not hitting the lineup, Goff is having a good week a lot of the times.
Yes. Yeah.
Yikes.
That's crazy, dude. That is, you watch Jalen Hyatt play against Alabama and then logged off.
No, guys, I think it's fine if anyone out there is the Imanor bull and is trying to get 100% of them, go ahead. That's the bet. You know, I'm not going to tell you you're crazy for making that bet. I think it's just most likely he is Javon Baker. He is Jalen Polk. He is an utter 0.
Yeah. Yeah. You are correct.
And the reason why he's being drafted at all is because, yes, there's upside.
He's being drafted because he was being drafted in the big board and he has a high default. And he also had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against Colorado. So everyone watched that game.
Yeah. Price anchoring. And I didn't know that college stuff, but that too.
Dude, he smoked Travis Hunter. Smoked him. Had this really cool boundary play. Travis
Hunter's a wide receiver, dude.
He's pretty good. He's a pretty good corner.
I think Naked Caleb is pretty tempting here. Pretty far past ADP. Just getting to bet on the Bears and not having to figure it out.
I'd probably go Love. There's a chance we get Kraft coming around, but I'm fine with Naked Caleb. I don't care.
I would also do Shaheed.
It's up to you. Okay. I like Shaheed.
Let's do Sheed. I don't know. Like, just taking Caleb and not having to figure out the calculus of who you need stacked is somewhat tempting, you know? Calling it a day at quarterback, just being like, Caleb is awesome this year in fantasy. And he goes much higher usually in drafts is the only reason why.
Yes. I mean, naked quarterback is going to matter. Like,
the reason why we don't, the reason why we do this now is it's easier to have a conversation when we're not
it's
both
way
drafting
easier to have a conversation.
Yeah. Like we can discuss the picks versus like Davis drafts, I draft, etc.
Yeah. So like thinking about stacking in the eliminator, correlation is obviously good because it's just going to mean that points are hitting your lineup when you like. So like, let's say we have our Jared Goff and our Jameson Williams stack, and then our Caleb Williams, DJ Moore stack. It's like more likely. It's more likely that we have access to an above median score. Doing the stacking, but also you are naked Caleb as long as you are not against a DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Colson Loveland team. You don't really care, right? You just want the 24 points.
Well, and really, the teams that where it's like a little bit more acceptable to go naked quarterback is one, when you're getting the quarterback at a value, which we were, and two, it's a team that conceivably could have a very flat target share. Like it could be like 20% Loveland, 20% more, 20% Rome, you know, late in the season, Burden breaks out. He's getting up there to 20%. So it's like really no one sticks out. It's just a ping-ponging week, and you're just trying to capture the points of the passing game. Plus, Caleb is a rusher. Like, is it surprising that Caleb rushed for, I think, more yards than, or almost as many yards as Bo Nix? 489 for Caleb.
No, he's super.
Nix had, more yards. Nix had 430. And I don't think people think about it that way because Nix had 4 rushing touchdowns.
They just don't. They don't think about it that way because he didn't really run in college. But like, obviously, he's like a very young, athletic guy. Like he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, 600 rushing yards last year, pretty much. Good O-line. So I don't know. Like, I think naked Caleb. And by the way, it didn't have to be naked. We could have gotten Loveland at pick 130, which seems like he's going to be there.
Right.
But what made me decide on Shaheed is with this being a stream draft, it does seem like it's not as crazy whack-a-mole hungry at quarterback. And so I do think we're going to get quarterbacks that are logical for us later. Round 18 Komet, you don't want anything to do with an eliminator. If Dawson Knox is always there, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather round 18 Komet in Best Ball Mania is actually probably sick.
In Best Ball Mania, it's better because you can tell yourself, I have the only share of Komet. I just need him to have a lucky week. It's pretty terrible in the eliminator where you need to beat a bunch of consecutive head-to-head opponents. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and like a 4.2 projection from your tight end does nothing. You know who's good? And Benny just said this. Higbee's actually sick in the eliminator.
I think Higbee's a kind of a good pick in all of them because the Jake Ferguson stuff could be wish casting. Like, does anyone remember Luke Schoonmaker, second round pick to the Cowboys? Yeah. You know, like these guys don't always.
I think they cut him.
No, I think he's still on the team.
All right, what do you want to do here?
Oh, I was gonna say Love. Yeah, I think we just take.
We take. I think you want to talk about naked Dak is sick. I think now
or Herbert. You like Dak or Herbert?
Herbert we can backstack. So I guess Herbert.
I still have a little bit more injury concern about Dak too. You know, and the nice thing about Herbert, nearly 300 fantasy points last year, potentially a huge upgrade with Trey Harris there. Like simply replacing the Quentin Johnston routes might be a huge upgrade for them.
And the Jalen Reagor routes and like Will Dissly not
involved. Shark plan, you know, like all of that. Yeah, like this these two guys are good quarterbacks. It's a value on Herbert. I like Dak. I think he's going to go up in price when he shows he's healthy, but like that's not even a lock right now. Like they gave up a 3rd-round pick for Pickens. That's not a lot. That's not like throw out all priors.
Yeah.
And I think we hit tight end. I like Kincaid more than Ferg with Pickens. You cool with Kincaid?
I mean, not
You would
really,
draft-
but
Would you draft Ferg?
no, I probably would just keep pushing it, but whatever. He's fine.
We get one. I mean, if we're going to go 3rd quarterback, Penix is there for the stack. Dak's still there. Dak or Kincaid?
Kincaid.
Dak is tempting too. Just trying to like get 30 points a week at quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, so gonna stop at 2 quarterbacks. I feel decent about our 6 wide receivers. JSN, Mike, JMO, Matthew Golden, Mooney, Shaheed. Like Shaheed is just cheaper Mooney. And Mooney's
People are saying
cheaper
that more and
JMO.
more.
Mike Clay's projections have Shaheed and Olave projected for the same. That's pretty funny.
That is insane. Obviously, I mean, is it games played? That's the difference.
I mean, how would that be, man? Shaheed has an injury. No, it's just like a flat like 903 or something for both of them. Here, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
And these are old. These are stale a little bit. Mike Clay's projections, by the way.
Yeah, he'll probably do a big update at some point. Yeah, 904.
904, 950 and 4.
Yeah.
I mean, do people forget Shaheed was like the wide receiver 8 in fantasy before he got hurt?
Shaheed was like one of the guys you really wanted to have before he got hurt.
I don't think drafts get thrown out for bad structure, just bad ADP reaches.
Yeah, and there are there positional limits?
Well, they used to allow you to draft like 8 quarterbacks, but they've limited that to 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they've also because I've tried to do like a weird 1 quarterback team on occasion, and you're not allowed to draft like 12 or 11 wide receivers or something. So there are limits at each position.
So yeah, probably not for structural reasons.
We got a couple steady eddies and then a couple guys that can just win you the week.
This is better than the last team, I think.
Yeah, I like them both. But I mean, CMC A-Chain is very comfy if it works out, right? Plus that Harvey pick feels real good in reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've just been doing these. That's why I was like, I really think we should do Harvey here.
Yeah. We probably have enough flexibility to do 3 tight ends on this one as well.
I think so too. Like we don't even need Kincaid to be healthy week 1. He will be, but I don't,
just need Kincaid to be healthy, dude. Then the breakout's coming.
I mean, he's
Liam,
still
you're gonna get the last laugh on old Kincaid.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if Kincaid's like tight end 5. Like that's tight end 3 could definitely happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, tight end weird stuff happens at tight end, and I mean they don't have any good receivers, so him getting 80 catches would.
Obviously, part of Buffalo's plan is Coleman and Kincaid taking a step, and I think
a step.
And Kincaid was hurt last year. Like he was on his way to a couple of big games. He also could still be very hurt.
And he's healthy now, right?
I kind of think we shouldn't pass on Penix or Tua.
No, we need a 3rd tight end.
I think the 3rd quarterback adds more. Like both are stacks is the thing.
I think it's bad. I think we need a 3rd tight end more.
We'll go Pitts. Kincaid and Pitts is a good duo at least.
The two most disappointing players at their position.
Imagine us winning the Eliminator with this, man. Everyone would be rooting for us. They're like, please, Kyle Pitts, be a winner.
That's true. Honestly, that is true.
Like, we'd have the community behind us. I do think the third quarterback is kind of nice here. Just because you're hitting a stack and you're starving the beast a little bit of these rooms. Because, like, what happened here is, like, all of these running backs just flew off the board. So we're not reaching on this group. Like, we're just going to take a lot of these guys. Wow, both are left for us.
Sick.
Who do you like better?
I mean, Penix probably has a little bit more ceiling, I guess.
Tua's just like QB1 the first month of the season always.
Right. Yeah, and then the weather gets cold. I don't care. They're the same.
I don't know. I don't think we necessarily have to have a third quarterback, but I think just scooping the value in the Eliminator where quarterbacks, like, I could show you many boards where at this pick, I'm picking Sam Darnold or Richardson. So I think we just kind of let the room decide for us there. I would have taken like Leggett or someone if we didn't do that. And we're kind of doing what we said. We're counting on these three dudes to be good. And we're going to go a little thinner at depth there.
Yeah.
So, like, from here, I don't think we can do the third tight end anymore. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, or 3 running backs, 1 wide out.
Yeah, we just have to, Kyle Pitts and Dalton Kincaid just have to get their shit together.
It's a lock, dude. What if they're tight end 1 and 2 this year? How mad are people going to be?
If they're tight end 1 and 2 this year, there are going to be a lot of people who are like looking back at their 2023 underdog teams and they're like, Christ, man, I had it.
People are going to be so upset because the way fantasy works is when why is Tua still here? Like Richardson over Tua is crazy.
It's extra crazy in this format.
It's so crazy, right? Like, so anyways, the way fantasy works is when someone drafts a lot of a player and then they get burned by them, they just generally, like, most people just will no longer draft that player. Some people will double down and keep on going, but a lot of people are just like, I'm done with them. And so when you see, sometimes that play, like for me, that was kind of Tank Bigsby last year. Drafted a ton his rookie year. Drafted a ton of Alec Pierce the year before. Didn't draft any last year. Both had really good years. Like sometimes you can get some flop lag.
I mean, flop lag, particularly when the team still is installing them for a role. Kyle Pitts is a pretty good example. We all hate Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, he stinks, whatever. But if he was just, if Kyle Pitts was Jake Ferguson or like a rookie tight end, if Kyle Pitts was a rookie tight end installed with the same projection that he has now, we'd be like, oh shit, dude, Kyle Pitts.
Thank you, Brian, for the marketing. Living a little rent-free over there, I see. Hope your day improves.
Rent-free. Well, but like Dontavian Wicks is a bad example because the team told us, and Anthony Richardson, same thing. The team has said these guys suck. The team has said we are over it.
I mean, I don't know if it's exactly like a vote of hate on Wicks because it could just be that Christian Watson's career is over.
Well, they took Savion Williams too. They took the Packers.
He could be a kick returner. He could be their RB2. Like, is he even playing wide receiver?
I mean, he only had like 50 carries in college. He's a wide receiver, and I don't think he returned kicks either.
What I remember is him being compared to Cordero quite a bit.
Yeah, he has not returned kicks since 2020, and 0 punt returns in college.
All right. I think J.K. Dobbins is a cromulent pick here.
I think we need to do the opposite of this. We have our old guys for the early weeks. We need to be thinking about week 5 right now.
Brother, if J.K. Dobbins signs with the team, he's going up in brick. I think this is a pretty who else are you counting on week 1 production? Justice Hill again?
Marshawn Lloyd, I think, is a better. I think Marshawn Lloyd's a better bet both ways.
I like Dobbins still. Dobbins could be a 0, guys, but he scored 200 fantasy points last year, 175. And you know what else I would say is we've seen the same thing that happened to Dobbins happened to Elijah Moore. So Dobbins getting tagged by the Chargers is not a death blow for him landing with another team. The Browns did that
For
to
sure.
Moore. Moore signed with the Bills.
For sure.
I just think this month, I'm just going to mix in the Dobbins, Keenans, and the Coopers and just get my CLV when they sign.
Yeah. I won't do Cooper. I've taken Dobbins a couple times.
I was doing Cooper a little bit more before the Penix trade. I like Demario Douglas for routes. You like that?
Demario Douglas? No, I'd take your boy Slayton over Douglas. Lot of route pressure for Douglas.
I don't know, man. 603. He's like Jacoby Myers.
Well, who's on? I mean, I don't care, but
we have we have 500 guys like Slayton, Shaheed, Mooney, Golden, JMO. They're all Slayton on better teams.
So, what's your week 1 route projection between Hollins, Douglas, Booty, and Kyle Williams?
Kyle Williams 0 routes.
Well, Kyle Williams is not running 0 routes in week 1. No chance.
Okay, 5 if you want to accept 0. 5 routes for Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is either going to be a hit or a 0. It's probably pretty binary for him.
I wouldn't think so, because even Polk was playing Jalen Polk. He was playing 20% of the routes.
New coaching staff. Vrabel might not throw him out there.
I'm trying to think if were there any rookie wide receivers in the Vrabel era? I actually don't know.
Traylon.
All right, Mike Vrabel.
Traylon Burks.
So 2018 head coach. Were any of these guys rookies? Was Tajay Sharp a rookie that year?
Man, that's a name I have not heard.
That's a name. I don't think there was a rookie in 2018. So let's go 2019.
I think Douglas just fits the bill as sometimes these
Jonnu would have been the rookie then. Oh, AJ Brown.
Okay, but are we going to compare Kyle Phillips to AJ Brown?
Well, no, but that was the thing. Was AJ Brown was only a 40% snap share guy until week 5.
Yeah, and Kyle Phillips is either incredible.
Kyle Phillips, that's another. Remember that guy? Kyle Phillips was
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Phillips was a Titan 2 years ago.
He was a pretty decent. He was kind of Pop Douglas-y.
Yeah.
I don't know. Douglas is kind of like Wandale, but on the Pats.
Yeah, Wandale. There's an eliminator ass pick. Wandale.
And he's a year 3 player. He could be pretty good. All right, we need another running back.
I like Estime here.
I like Justin. I mean, I like Jaleel more. Jaleel's gone.
Yeah. Oh, we already have Harvey.
Oh,
do Marks.
I don't like this for the eliminator, but sure.
That was good. That was good. Nimble fingers.
All right, one more pick. Where do you want it at? Running back kind of makes sense.
I was gonna say running back. Yeah.
Wide receiver makes sense too. Zach Moss, RB2 of the Bengals.
I don't know. I'd like a report that he's at camp or something.
Keaton Mitchell, RB2 of the Ravens.
Dude, let's just take Savion Williams. He's a running back and a wide receiver.
We need running back points, though, probably, though.
Yeah.
Moss is not retiring, man. He restructured.
Well, but like his neck, dude.
I know, but he restructured.
Neck.
Let's get Kendre.
I don't hate Kendre. Just guys got like
How you feeling about your boy Devin Neal?
I mean, if you're gonna be a day 3 pick, at least land on a depth chart where your competition is a 30-year-old guy and a terrible guy.
Is Kendre terrible, or was he just hated by Dennis Allen? You remember last year when it was like he played and then he didn't need to go on IR, and Dennis Allen was just like, I hate this guy, so we're putting him on IR, and then Dennis Allen got fired?
Yeah. I think Kendre started a game last year and he was pretty bad. But that was when the team was totally dead. So it's probably not fair to put he had 2 starts last year. Liam, this will be a good bit. Guess in his 2 starts how many rushing yards for Kendre? 2 starts.
55.
18 rushing yards in his 2 starts. It's absolutely not fair to him. The Saints, in fact,
man.
They combined for 10 points in those games.
We feel it's like a little thin at wideout, but like with me, like I think if I could do this again, I would have swapped Marks for Kendre and just added another wide receiver. But this could work. Goff, Herbert, and Penix, you hope your quarterback is a strength, not just good enough, right? You're hoping you're like alternating 25-point weeks. And then Kincaid and Pitts. I mean, Pitts is what, 18 years old? That is the rub on him, is he's like incredibly young, right?
Yeah, dude. I think he's still 20. I think he's 24. Might even be 23. Yeah,
I didn't even realize we had the Penix double stack. I forgot we had Pitts and
Penix double, dude.
Kincaid, the upside case will be obvious if it hits. And then, okay, maybe we went a little too much of running back, but that just means we're just counting on 3 wide receivers to hit our lineup. And we
are gonna need like 9 combined spike weeks between JMO, Golden, and Shaheed.
Yeah, we need like 6 touchdowns from Shaheed, 6 from Mooney, 8 from JMO, 7 from Golden. Douglas.
We need Demario Douglas to not get benched for a 3rd-round pick.
We need Douglas to be playing. I kind of think he's somewhat safe because I guess what? So your thought?
I don't because
Kyle Williams in the slot, and then
Williams is the most obvious slot,
and then Mac outside with Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
We also, we're seeing Diggs run routes. He looks good, but he could be slow to start the year too. Maybe some of these guys get cut or traded too. I don't know, man.
It's always possible.
Douglas is a young player, and he's
Matt Collins back to the Bills. They trade a conditional 7th-round pick to get him. It's just like how McCole Hardman is a Packer right now. What week is he going to be a Chief again?
Yeah.
Week 9, week 10. Like, come on, we all know.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for today. Let us know in the comments below what your strategy is for the Eliminator. We'll get to Dodgers team real quick before we get out of here. For me, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord links below. Gonna have fresh rankings updating or to reflect the news we got coming later this week, and got a couple articles that should hit the site this week as well. Davis, what do you want to tell the folks?
New Takecast out with Brick. New video about Jonathan Taylor that I did with Buck that we uploaded on Monday. Rankings up on patreon.com/DavisMatic. All the good stuff.
All right, Davis, we got to do this real quick. Little Dodgers, roast and grade the 101. You'll love the last pick. I'll give it a C-.
Tyreek and Kamara just playing the olds game.
It's key that you have no players playing by week 5. That's a great strategy.
That is although Rome, I think it's 72. I think honestly that makes up for it. That is huge.
The 5th target on the Bears is going to absolutely hit when you're eliminated week 1. Chuba playing with Rico and his replacement ETN, and then Jonathan Brooks, fantastic for him. Anytime you can pay 20 picks more in a format for DeAndre Swift versus the limit versus BBM, you got to do it.
Look though, he got a cheap Higgins and a cheap Trey Harris, relatively speaking.
No, these are their ADPs in this contest.
That's crazy.
It's very different, right? Tyrone Tracy, it's key to draft the Giants backup running back. A team that will.
Yeah, Tracy is a super slappy pick, all formats.
I actually like Tracy more than Cam, but
McCarthy, I think, is a great pick in this. Wandale is an eliminator ass pick. DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, come on, man.
What are we doing?
Come on, have some self-respect. Tyler Shuck.
There have been drafts where I have been sniped on Shuck. I had to take Daniel Jones in a draft last night in this.
Man,
Blake Corn, you just drafted like a bunch of players who are going to get replaced. Wandale is expensive. Demario Douglas, so I'm sure that one will work out. Hope you like the roast is a bit of a joke, folks. If you don't understand,
we call it a saucing.
Let's just say you're lucky to have Jamar Chase on the squad.
We're always lucky to have Jamar Chase.
All right, folks, enjoy your days. Davis and I will be back later this week. Peace out.